Can I go down here? What do you want in there?
The tech gumbo cup, just black.
Black?
Thank you.
Would you like me to wash out the cup first?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, Carl does that.
Uh-huh.
I got you.
.604 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you, Bree Lynn producing, getting you ready for an unbelievably stacked up Wednesday show. We got Franz Borghardt in for Legally Served in about 20 minutes from right now. We're going to talk a lot of carbon capture. Where's the money coming from? In our 7 o'clock hour. We're going to dive into the Congress, Julia Letlow, in our 8 o'clock hour. We got a lot to get to. Let's get to it. Top stories and trending. Let's roll. Boom, 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 boom. Starting you out with some former news partners at WBRZ. The University Parks Restoration Project has been ongoing for several years. Our news partners at WBRZ now getting a more clear timeline on what's next for the project and when it could be completed. Project manager Mark Goodson states dredging on University Lake is expected to be completed by the summer. When dredging ends in a particular area, Goodson says crews will landscape the sediment that's been placed on the shoreline. That'll continue through the end of this year. There's a number of other updates to come on this project, not the least of which is when will May Street reopen? That is still on its original timeline, as I understand it. Thank you, Franz. Demolition has begun at Banks Elementary School, marking the end of a decades-long presence in the neighborhood. Crews are expected to continue tearing down the building over the next few weeks. Now, what should happen with the property? Well, a community meeting is scheduled for March 26th at Little Zion Baptist Church to give residents a chance to share their ideas and help shape the future of the community. 19th Judicial District Court closed at 3 p.m. Tuesday because of a power and water outage. The closure includes family court and the clerk of court's office as well. Officials said everything was back in order by 5:40 p.m. So today it will be business as usual. Mystical pleaded guilty to third-degree rape yesterday. The rapper, whose real name is Michael Tyler, was accused of beating, choking, and robbing a woman at his Ascension Parish home back in 2022. The victim said Tyler took her keys and phone so she couldn't leave. Sentencing is going to be coming up in June. We are going to be talking about this in Legally Served with Franz in about 20 minutes.
Did you catch the part where he's accused of making her Cash App him after the act?
I did not catch that
part.
Oh,
it's in the facts.
I mean,
like I rape you and hey, yo, dude, I need you to Cash App me. He's mystical with lyrics like
don't
shake it fast.
No, just that'll make him say. Yeah. A Livingston Parish jury yesterday acquitted Melanie Curtin on simple rape and video voyeurism charges, finding that a recorded sexual encounter found during the years-long investigation of the former sheriff's deputy did not depict criminal activity. This will also be a Legally Served topic.
U.S. Central Command says bombers successfully dropped multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrator munitions on hardened Iranian missile sites that pose a risk to international shipping in the Strait of Hormuz.
So does that mean we're getting somewhere? Like it's a little more safe now? I just...
Like, what does that mean? ...
Yeah.
It's going to be huge.
Besides that.
I'm not saying there's nuclear bombs or war.
Donald Trump telling ships just brave it out. Just tough it out. It really has that vibe of Mayor Larry Vaughn. Do you know who Mayor Larry Vaughn is?
I remember bits and pieces.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Neither does Franz. Larry Vaughn was the mayor of Amity in Jaws. Okay. And remember after the first attack, when everybody's just sitting on the beach and he goes up to the guys like, nobody's getting in the water. Go get in the water.
And they're just all.
Yeah. And everybody's just sitting. And then the one family just like walks out slowly into the water.
This is what this is.
And then everybody else gets in the water. And then the Kittner boy gets killed.
Dun, dun, dun.
I watch Jaws every time it's on. It doesn't matter. Every time it's on.
It's
I'll
a good
watch
movie. Was that the movie that made Spielberg, or was it E.T.? What was the?
Oh no, it was definitely Jaws. Jaws is the old.
right?
Obviously,
Yeah.
Jaws was before E.T., right?
Yeah.
When it comes to the U.S. getting help in the Strait of Hormuz, NATO allies are saying it's not our war.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. We know who you are,
Right.
and we'll
They're
remember
saying
that.
we didn't do this.
Yeah.
We didn't want this. So,
That's-
yeah, okay.
You know what?
But we'll remember that.
We weren't really counting on you. We were just trying to see who our friends were. Good to know.
Right.
Good to know.
With spring break upon us, there couldn't be a worse time for a bed bug outbreak in the southeast, but here we are. Infestations are being reported in Florida, Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Gross.
I know. But it is spring break time, so
Right.
Panama City. The good news is bed bugs is like the fourth worst thing you can catch in Panama City.
Oh.
What are the other three?
Do what?
What are the other three?
We'll talk about that during the break. It's 6:10 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take our first break, I want to remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes, industrymakes.org, a concerted effort to make sure that the business that runs this state, the business that makes things go, the business that puts shoes on our feet, tires on our car, the business that employs our neighbors, has a return volley when attacks are headed their way. I can tell you there's an attack coming today. There's going to be a protest from the Bucket Brigade as CF Industries is getting underway with their construction. And CF Industries here to employ a whole ton of us and make sure that our median salaries are going up in the state of Louisiana. Well, there will be a protest of that. So who returns volley? Who tells the folks that are protesting industry, no, this is what industry is doing? That's what Industry Makes is all about. Learn more at industrymakes.org. If you want to be an ambassador for industry, they have a whole ambassador toolkit at industrymakes.org.
Not going to protest.
Yeah, how do you know about a protest? Like, don't they just do those without announcing it?
I'm on a couple of email lists that I might not should be.
That I might not. So, the funny thing?
You got the home run and the strikeout? We're going to go strikeout first.
The funny thing? The movie that I just referenced, we're not going to protest. PCU
It's
is
real now.
not streaming. You cannot watch it stream.
I know.
You have to buy it like DVD.
Because it was prophecy.
Right.
PCU nailed it. The Port Chester whooping crane. It's
Moonbeam. What are you doing here? Panama City.
the best line in that whole movie is when the frat dude's like, "You chicks want a brew dog?" And she goes, "Pack up your rape culture and take a hike."
It's like
If
it's
you're
like nice
enough
to them.
they
They'll
bring you things. I have that movie freaking memorized, man. I love that.
I
film.
also enjoyed the "Don't be that guy." Wearing
What
the
is
shirt.
this? You're wearing the shirt of the band that you're going to see in concert. That was John Favreau. Well, no, I think Rudy came out before it. Rudy was 93, PCU was 94. Pretty sure. But he was a much bigger part in PCU than he was in Rudy. I didn't exhale. Works for me, man.
Thank you very much. What was the song they put on repeat? Skyrockets in Flight.
Was it Afternoon Delight?
Yeah. He locks the door. Latin? Here's Sanskrit.
No, it was Sanskrit. He says Latin. Best I got. What's your major? Phys ed. Get out. Get out.
Coffee.
That should be in the open.
I wish I could now see. I don't even have a DVD player. The other movie that was like that, Dogma, has just now come out on streaming. Kevin Smith's movie. I was watching a little bit of Dogma last night.
Well, if it wasn't for PCU, I probably wouldn't be a huge George Clinton fan.
It's kind of like that movie Idiocracy, where you watch Idiocracy now and you're like, man, I'm a little uncomfortable with how much this is a reality now. Camacho, President Camacho. On the teleprompter. Shit.
.614 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. LSU baseball starting off a 9-game homestand last night, taking on Grambling State 7-1. Your final score, and Tigers are continuing to struggle at the plate, y'all. I know it's 7-run win or 7 runs in the win, but also 7 hits on the night as well versus Grambling's midweek pitching. It was a little bit of a struggle last night. There were only 7 hits, like we said, only 7 hits on the night. Tigers got runs off of a dribbler to first base. Tigers got a run off of a hit by pitch. It was not, Omar Cerna was great. We'll get to him in just a second. But when you run through the box score, there's a whole lot of zeros in the hit column. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 hits over 6 guys. Cerna had 2. And when you look at everybody who played, everybody who got an at-bat, 7 hits out of 30 at-bats is not really they haven't really fixed it just yet. But it's the first game of a 9-game homestand. So you got a lot of time in friendly territory. You got a lot of time with a friendly crowd behind your back. You got a lot of time to get things right. Before we get to Omar Cerna, I do want to make note of one guy on the mound last night. LSU threw 8 pitchers. 8 pitchers. Oh my word! I produced the game for LSU Sports Radio last night. So if you see the bags under my eyes, it's because Jay Johnson hates radio producers. Because pitching change after pitching change after pitching change. No, there were 2 guys last night for LSU who threw 2 innings. Grant Fontenot threw 2 innings. He looked really good. Maverick Rizzi, who has had control problems so far this season, Rizzi looked good as well. In fact, in the 7th, he just went up and struck out the side.
Now Rizzi got to find the strike zone here. Let his defense back him up if Bridges makes contact. The payoff pitch, swing and a miss, or you can do it that way. Rizzi strikes out the side here in the top of the 7th inning. Hardly go Grambling. 3 up, 3 down. It's a 3-1 LSU lead.
3-1 LSU lead at the end of the 7th. They put up most of the rest of the runs in the in the bottom of the 7th and then in the 8th as well. Up to and including Omar Cerna, who had he went 2 for 5 on the night, scored 3 runs, and led off. I believe it was the 8th inning. He led off with this bomb.
First the 2-1, and this one rocketed out of the ballpark. This one is gone over the left field landing for Omar Cerna. His 2nd home run as a Tiger, and that one way, way, way out of here. His 2nd home run this season.
That was smashed. 109 off the bat, 383, but it was a line on a missile right at our boy Corey out there in the left field landing. This time got over his head, thank goodness. But that ball was absolutely crushed by Cerna.
383 feet, and it was a rope. It got out of there in a hurry. Like you heard. So you heard Chris Blair and Doug Thompson on the call for LSU Sports Radio last night. That ball got out in a hurry. So LSU baseball off today. They have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series this week with Oklahoma, and like we said, it is a 9-game homestand that got started the right way with a 7-1 win last night over Grambling. So conference play will continue. By the way, from Oklahoma's standpoint, they're off to a rough start on their Louisiana swing. They got to town. They're not in town just to play LSU. They were in town last night in Hammond, USA, and they lost to Southeastern. So not the best of starts for the Sooners as they're in Louisiana. Now, on to the World Baseball Classic. Gold medal game last night, and it was a really good game, but the U.S. does come up a little bit short. They fall to Venezuela 3-2, your final score there. The U.S. drops the championship game, drops the gold medal game. This is the first.
How is this different from Olympics? Or is it
from the World Baseball Classic?
Yeah. What's
the Olympics is within the Olympics.
All right.
So the World Baseball Classic's every year.
Okay.
So
instead of waiting, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
This is Venezuela's first World Baseball Classic championship. We're coming up on 6:20 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We'll take a quick break. We'll check the Fox Business Report. I'll have a look at traffic on the way back in, and then we have a stack of topics to cover and Legally Served. Franz Borghardt's in the house. That's coming your way next on Talk 107.3 FM. I want to do like a legislative look as well because there's a stack of bills.
Whatever you want to do. You want to
not today.
When do whatever you want.
Well, are you available Monday?
I'll have to look. As soon as I get my phone back, I'll look. What time on Monday?
The normal 6:25, and then hang around for Moral Dilemma.
Yes, I could probably do that. Oh, no. Colonoscopy on Monday. Having a colonoscopy on Monday. Riding the lightning! I hear it's a great way to drop some LBs. I could do Monday at that time. My issue is I don't know yet what time they want me to report, and I'm going to be taking that medicine. Mm-hmm. I've never had a colonoscopy before. Yeah. The medicine I will be taking the day before, I'll be cleared out by then, right?
Yeah.
So
the medicine on the front end doesn't affect, just clears your system out. That gray juice.
I'm worried about the distance between here and the bathroom behind me. So tentatively, yes, because I'll be out of here. I'm assuming I'm not going to have my procedure that early.
No.
Yeah.
You have a ride home?
I'm working on it. I got to get a ride there and home. This is just not. So remember,
I can help you
out. The whole thing is, I'm not excited about it. I am excited about dropping
your asshole. How could you be excited about it?
I did run into. You remember your friend Gordy Rush?
Yeah.
You remember Gordy? Yeah. Gordy Rush. I ran into Gordy Rush yesterday at City Pork, and he was like, oohing and on about how much weight I've lost, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I need to start building muscle mass. I'm like, dude, you look like you work out a lot. I didn't say you look like you're on steroids. He's not on steroids, but you like a gym rat, right? And he goes, yeah, I work out regularly. I was like, Brian works out regularly. Like, I need to get into this gym life. We've talked about this before. And so he mentioned a gym challenge. And I was like, well, we've done Fat Boy 50.
I need to redo Fat Boy 50.
Do you want?
I lost 40 in the 50,
there needs to be
and I stopped and I put it all back on.
I think it needs to be more than just the weight loss. I think it needs to be the accountability to a humorous degree of. Did you go to the gym today? Did you go to the gym today? Did you go to the gym today?
Yeah. How much you bench?
That's it. What are you benching? Is it leg day?
It's leg day every day, Franz.
Is leg day every day?
It's leg day every day. I do 2 movements of legs every day.
Leg days every day.
Leg, at least 2 movements.
So
hang on. I keep forgetting that I got to do the damn.
I'll take the phone back now.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear.
I got that though. I got that on video. It's leg day every day, Franz. Oh.
So you got a bumper and the traffic bed. See, I thought I was doing traffic, and then it sounded like Too Short was doing traffic.
Just partying.
All right. Starting off on I-12, you can blow the whistle out by Range Avenue exit. We see our normal delays for this time. A little bit of congestion. Not really delays, just congestion. You're going to not have a whole lot of elbow room on 12 coming in town by Range, and then again by O'Neill Lane. And this could be intermittent all the way up through the 10-12 merge. We're also looking at a lot of not. It's not delays. It's just people out there, right? On 10 westbound in between Acadian and the Lakes. Actually, it's been like this since I was coming in, since before 5 o'clock.
There was a stalled vehicle this morning.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw the vehicle. When I was coming in, just before 5 o'clock this morning, when I was coming in, and I don't always take the interstate. Normally I just come up through town. But as the vehicle like coasted off to the side with the hazard lights on, so I know right when that happened and I know right where that happened. But I figured it was in the clearing stages by now because that was an hour and a half ago. But nonetheless, there are residual delays as a result of it. Meanwhile, you're also looking at out on the interstates, 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish when you back things up. Looks really good at this time. 10 eastbound coming back across from the west side, coming in from Port Allen or Points Beyond. Looks good as well. Surface streets, got a couple of things to look out for real quick. About a half an hour ago. Ooh. No, close to an hour ago. We saw an accident Main Street at North 25th. I don't think that's going to be in the way of anybody's commute. So let's fast forward to 5 minutes ago. Accident with injuries, airline at Plank. That's going to be the biggest thing to look out for on your surface streets this morning. Airline at Plank. There's an accident with injuries being worked at this time. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Are you 650 or 7?
7.
Guarantee Health Solutions, bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. Love the partnership with Guarantee Health Solutions. Love the mission over at Guarantee Health Solutions because it's a mission that starts with compassion. It starts with the doctor-patient relationship. It also starts with the office-to-patient relationship. From there, it grows out the rest of your business. If you are a doctor, if you work in a doctor's office, if you have an urgent care, if you have a specialty practice or a general practitioner, whatever the case might be, how's your marketing looking right now? How's the back office systems running right now? How is the effort to get the word out about who you are and what you do? And, oh, by the way, how is your relationship with your patients? Learn more at guaranteehealth.com. Guaranteehealth.com. Time for Legally Served. Let's roll. Ripped from the headlines. Attorney Franz Borghardt in for Legally Served. How are you, brother?
We're kind of like the icing on a cupcake when it comes to legal analysis and commentary.
Why?
I can't get it out of my head.
I understand that. So the backstory here is Livingston Sweethearts, Dennis and Cynthia Perkins, served cupcakes to kids that had
2 things.
Man juice in them. Yes.
2 things. Number 1, this is why we try cases.
Okay.
If you ever wonder, man, why are we going to trial? It's because sometimes the jury acquits the person accused.
We'll
number
get to that in a second.
Number 2, I am one to admit when I'm wrong. I sat here maybe 2 weeks ago and said,
it was last week.
It was last week. And I said, man, oh man, would I plead this lady out?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like a weatherman. I'm right 50% of the time. She got acquitted.
No, she did. Okay, so let's give the backstory here. Melanie Curtin was found not guilty Tuesday on all charges in her second trial stemming from a 2014 sexual assault case involving former Livingston Parish Sheriff's Deputy Dennis Perkins, of course, Cynthia Perkins, Dennis's wife, involved in this as well. Curtin faced charges of simple rape and video voyeurism. She was alleged to have helped Perkins rape an unconscious woman. The first time around, she was found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Then they retried her based off of video.
There was a whole bunch of things.
There were, yeah.
And look, let's also set the scene that she was never the main target.
Right.
I think she was always.
But she was the first target.
She was the first target because I think that they planned on using her as a lever.
Okay.
Against the other 2 defendants.
Now let's walk through this because there's a lot of strategy to break down here.
Right.
Because when she comes around for trial the first time around, okay, and Livingston Sweethearts, Dennis and Cynthia Perkins had not been tried yet, Melanie Curtin was the worst thing the court had seen as far as this case was concerned. She was as bad as it was going to get until it got worse.
Yeah.
So how much does that play into it? Forget the law for just a second and think about just the emotional quotient on this. Think about the EQ on this one, okay? When you first saw Melanie Curtin, she was the only thing attached to this case, this whole incident, this whole ordeal that had a trial. So it was going to be a lot worse the first time around. Then after Dennis and Cynthia Perkins have their trials, now Melanie's running third. She's not the worst anymore.
So I think the state of Louisiana, the AG's office, tried to make a deal with someone they perceived to be a demon to get the devils.
Okay.
And it happens in the justice system. Prosecutors make deals with folks that may be accused and have done wrongdoing so that they can get the bigger fish. Okay. Now remember, they changed the charge from the top charge to third degree rape. Okay. So they tried her on a lower standard.
Mm-hmm.
They tried her on third degree rape. And, there was things that happened during this trial.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that happened was we got information about the victim that we previously didn't know about her state of mind, about the state of mind. So tough case good on the AG's office for trying it.
Yeah.
I respect someone who says, I think you done something wrong. It may be a difficult case.
All right. So the back end of this, we don't have much time before we hit our break, but the back end of this that I want to touch on is when she was retried, was she facing the right charges? Because as we get into break, and just hold off on the commentary until we get back from break, as we go into break, she was clearly associated with two of the worst people we've ever seen. She was clearly associated on the inside ring of something that.
If you're at the Diddy party, are you guilty of the party?
That is the question. Right after we check news, traffic, and weather, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Good segue.
I'd like to tell you. Looking at you. I'd like to tell you that if I was at a Diddy party and I walked into one of those rooms, that I'd be like, I got to get the F out of here. I'd like to tell you that. But there might be a moment of pause where I'm like, what's going on here? Like, is that what I think it is? Like,
what's the acceptable amount of
is it like the 3-second rule?
Right. Is there an acceptable amount of just processing the visual in front of you?
Well, I think if you're there for like a couple of minutes and then you turn around and leave because you're like, I don't need to be here, you're good. If you don't participate, you're good.
So did you know? That's the question.
Would you like a bottle of complimentary lube? No, I'm good. No. I'm good. Do you think that the lube bottles had like Diddy's like logo or something on it? Like, you know how you can customize, like personalize like little bottles?
Merch.
Like merch. Do you think that I envision with Diddy like bad boys, like little lube bottles, like the antibacterial soap.
Hand sanitizer.
What?
Yeah, after COVID, we all had hand sanitizer.
I think
going
that
around.
Would be exceptionally good merch. I'm not saying that the Borghardt law firm. You need to be recording this. I'm not saying that the Borghardt.
Oh, wait.
I'm not saying that the Borghardt law firm as a consolation prize is going to have little bottles of Borghardt law firm lube to give to clients that get convicted. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that would be remarkably awesome.
If you
merch.
do, and you don't brand it by saying slip through the cracks of justice.
I think you give it out either way there. If they get convicted, you give the lube bottle. If they don't get convicted,
it's a consolation prize.
The Borghardt law firm does not endorse what Franz Borghardt says.
I got all that on video.
Now you need to do a baby Franz on that.
No.
Christy confirmed that you go to the gym every day. She confirmed that.
I do. It's
Christy dropped in the DM.
Which gym do we need to? We need a gym that you and I can go to and have accountability.
Go to the Y. Where you go again?
I went to the Y yesterday. I saw Landon at the Y yesterday. So Landon gets after it, yo.
Who's Landon?
Landon Foster, Flynn's son. He kind of runs facilities now.
I also need to have. I don't need a trainer. I need this is what you're going to do while you're at the gym this week.
Just a guy.
Do you think ChatGPT can do that?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to build muscle mass. I weigh this much. I am this much height.
They don't even give you a whole meal plan.
They got to be careful with ChatGPT. It's so generalized. Everybody's body type is different. Everybody's metabolism is different.
Does ChatGPT include in there, if you really want to get shred, here's a link to anaphylactic steroids. No?
Anabolic steroids. Not
what did I say?
You said anaphylactic steroids.
My brain is somewhere else right now.
My problem isn't the workout. Like I work out like a beast, but my problem is like I get home from working LSU baseball at 10:30 at night and have a bowl of red beans and rice. And then like I'll get home at a reasonable hour and have, a big old Tito's Martini. Big old Tito's Martini. Like, it just, I have poor habits and I have horrible sleep habits.
Back in the day, I had a Portugal cup. And if you're familiar with the restaurant Portugal, this is a big
burger joint on Esplanade?
That burger joint. That big white cup. I would fill it with ice, and I would take a bottle of amaretto and a bottle of sour, and I would fill that entire cup up. That was my afternoons. That was my afternoons.
Jeez. And what sorority did you pledge?
I didn't. That was my younger days of drinking. Then it became Scotch. Smoky Peter.
There you
Scotch.
go. Okay. All right.
Back in my day. Hold on. You were around for some of the drinking days.
I was around for a lot of the Japanese whiskey.
Oh, God. Oh.
So wait, Brian was around Rocco's drinking days, Franz's drinking days.
Maybe I'm the problem.
I went, so we were doing a Real Men Wear Pink performance where I was going to go on stage wearing a bear costume with a pink tutu, and I was going to dance. And I did, in fact, dance. I had a bottle of Japanese whiskey, and I started at like 5:30 on that bottle of Japanese whiskey before I went on stage, which was maybe 2 hours later. It was gone. I have no independent recollection of the entire evening. I've seen pictures. So and by the way, the Japanese whiskeys, by the way, oh, they were so good.
So
they were
clean.
So good.
One that starts with an S, and it has that black label.
Byron says the conversation transition from lube to gyms is unsettling. I know about as much about lube as I do about gyms, Byron. Sorry. It's a slippery slope.
When you did the night you did stand-up comedy,
I was pretty lit on that one too,
and you were perfect on stage. I say that knowing what it means to feed his ego.
So
I still say that.
So the problem
hammered, but you had no idea.
So the problem is a social anxiety issue. Believe it or not, I would get very, very, very anxious before I would get on stage and either MC something or do anything. The court's totally different. TV and radio is actually the most comfortable thing I do because it's just a conversation. I've known him for years, but standing in front
there is.
But you forget about it. We clearly forget about it. But I would have that social anxiety, so I would self-medicate, and there was a tipping point of, man, you're hilarious and awesome, and God, you're a train wreck, and how are you getting home? So trust me, you're getting a better. You're getting a better version. He'll tell you this is a much better version.
Good God, y'all! I'm awake. And then we go into that song.
637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Legally served with attorney Franz Borghardt rolling right along. We're continuing on with the Melanie Curtin case. Cases, she's
free as a bird,
and found not guilty of simple rape and video voyeurism. The question I was asking you on the way into the break, and if you were watching Facebook Live during the break, you know we came nowhere near to talking about that. But by the way, we're always on Facebook Live, and you never know what you're going to get on that end of the conversation. So
it's a slippery slope.
Brought to you by Lake Urchin Care. Yes. So the question I was asking going into the break was, were these the right charges for her? Did we as a populace make sure that she would be tried for the right things versus, something that's...
So before the Cupcake Sweethearts got convicted, it was guilt by association.
Right.
Even if she had nothing to do with some of the heinous, horrible things that they did, it was a tangential guilt by association. You were a part of a rape. So if you were part of a rape,
a whole series of them.
Yeah, if you were part of the rape, then you're part of the entire child molestation, cupcake, whatever. That was the guilt by association advantage that the state had before.
Right.
Once those two were convicted or whatever and sentenced, she became less evil, I think, optically, because it wasn't. I don't know that there's any facts to substantiate some of the other heinous things. The rape charge was an isolated, you were part of this rape where somebody was too drunk to do whatever. Okay. Which, by the way, is we have a weird, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this. We have a law that says if you can't consent because you're inebriated, it's rape. The
Yeah.
problem has always been with that. What happens if you have, and I don't mean this in my normal jesting way. What happens if you have two consensual drunk people?
That'd be the first question I have.
So are they raping each other?
Yeah. Can you charge right back?
Right. And I say that because that has always been, as someone who's done this for 20 years, it's easy to say, well, no means no. And if they're too drunk to consent, you should know better. Well, what if everybody's drunk?
Yeah.
People do dumb stuff while they're drunk.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
And
how do you determine? Yeah. How do you determine who's the guilty party there?
To your question, was she charged with the wrong charges? I think the state brought the charges they thought they could get a conviction with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also, I don't think they ever, and I'm saying this to credit Liz Murrell's office, I don't think that they ever wanted her to do life in jail, which, by the way, if you get convicted of first-degree rape, ag rape, what used to be called aggravated rape, that's life. In fact, first-degree rape still carries the death penalty.
Does it now?
Yeah, it's unconstitutional. You don't put people to death, but it carries the death penalty. I don't think that the state ever wanted that for her. I think the state always anticipated her cooperating and taking a deal to a lower level of time.
Right.
She stepped up to the Justice Craps table and did not roll snake eyes. Now, the first time she did. She got convicted the first time. Then she got a new trial because there was an allegation of prosecutorial misconduct. Something wasn't done right.
Then they closed the courtroom at some point as well. There were a number of things that kind of went sideways.
So I sat here, and lest everybody thinks that my ego is so huge that I cannot admit when I'm wrong. I sat here a week ago and said, man, oh man, I think she's going to get convicted.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
Yeah.
This is why we try cases.
No, absolutely. And I'll go back to the original point here is when she was out there first, like when she was the first one to be tried. Here's a great comparison. Okay. Sammy the Bull Gravano. He killed 19 people. He did a 20-year bid for killing 19 people. You killed 19 people. You should never get out of jail ever if you're not put to death yourself. But he rolled over on John Gotti, so he did a 20-year bid. So
I want to make a deal with the devil I know.
Right.
To get the
right. But so if I tell you you're going to try somebody for 19 murders, you think they're going to be going away forever.
That challenges our sense of justice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The other thing that challenges our sense of justice in 2026, and we talked about this before the break, is I'm at the Diddy party. I walk into the room. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I do know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
At what point am I guilty by association for being at the party, for being in the room, and for not leaving quick enough?
Right.
Now, this is an instance.
Quick enough?
This is the instance of she was there. She participated.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that it was ever an issue of, it wasn't me. I think this was an issue of, what's that Shaggy song?
It was.
I think this is an issue of, I'll tie it into mystical at some point. I think this
we're going to talk about mystical in our next segment.
Yeah, I think this was more of a, what was this that went down? And by the way, there are people that are raped that cannot consent because they're inebriated, intoxicated, impaired.
Right.
There are people that claim rape because they believe they were impaired, but they maybe consented.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that third category. And I'm sorry. I know if you're at Stars and La Fossa, I love you guys. There's the third category of, I have buyer's remorse about what I just did. I would never do this. You must have raped me. I have seen the full gambit as a prosecutor and a defense attorney over 20 years. The full gambit is, and there's some nuances between those. There's, I'm too drunk to consent. You raped me.
Right.
There is, we talked about this.
Daddy doesn't like the headlines.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed because he posted on his or Snapchat about, look, the buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done this. You raped me. And those sometimes look very similar, factually.
Yeah.
Especially when it's, you got to, and understand what we're dealing with here. It's not a forensic question. It's not a question of, did they have sex? Did they not have sex? Both sides are admitting they had sex.
Right.
It is a he said, she said. And people ask me all the time, can you really prosecute and get convicted on a he said, she said? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can.
We get 2.5 minutes till break. I want to quick hit this story before break, and we'll talk about Mystical on the back end. Legally served with attorney Franz Borghardt as part of Mornings with Brian Haldane. An attorney is facing felony charges after he was accused of bringing drugs, a firearm, and other items onto the property of the Lane Hunt Correctional Center, according to arrest affidavit obtained by WAFB's I-Team. The arrest comes amid a crackdown on contraband at the facility following a series of unexpected inmate deaths. That's a light way of putting close to 12.5, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on the specific number, but
this is all in the packaging.
Uh-huh.
Did he have illicit drugs, a gun, and stuff in his car and had no intention of bringing it in? And he got onto the property and they searched his car and they were like, dude, you got this, this, and this. This is contraband. Or did he have an intention of bringing this stuff to an inmate, which doesn't make sense? I mean, like, are you going to get a gun to an inmate? I don't. So it's all about context.
All right. So let's
how
talk.
You package it is the view.
Okay. Let's talk about context in terms of situational awareness. You're an attorney going to the prison.
Oh,
shouldn't you have the situational awareness to know probably let's leave this stuff at home?
If you've learned nothing else in the years and times of our tenure together, just because you're a licensed attorney doesn't mean you're smart.
Okay.
We make bad decisions all the time. So, do I have a firearm in my car? I'll tell you right now. I don't have a firearm on my person right now. I have a firearm in my car. And generally, I have a firearm in my car. Now, that in and of itself is not illegal. If I try to go on a prison property or in a courthouse with a firearm, it's no bueno.
So
that's not Latin. That's
as
Spanish.
An attorney, you would know that having that firearm in your vehicle is a no-no at a prison.
A sober, non-high attorney who does criminal law generally knows.
I like the comment from the attorney. Who was his name? Attorney Hunter Thomas. He said he told detectives the marijuana was his. He just forgot it was in his
personal
car.
Consumption.
But that's mine. I just forgot.
That has to be the defense, though. It has to be the defense of I smoke weed. You got me. All right. I just forgot.
I thought we would be able to get to this before we got to the break, but we're going to have to take a break real quick. The question I want to ask on the back end is, are we back to the guilty by association topic because of everything going on in Elaine Hunt that adds to the situational awareness? We'll continue next. All right. Another cup. I'll be back.
Would you like me to go get you another cup?
No, I got this one because it's a break. Oh. But good morning, Christy. Welcome in, Boo.
So they don't really tell you when the colonoscopy is going down. They're going to call me at some point to say, hey, this is when you need to show up. I cannot drive myself home. And I'm thinking about Ubering to the clinic to not inconvenience someone to bring me, if that makes sense. I don't know that somebody has to stay there. The procedure I hear is very quick.
Is it?
Speaking of lube.
Hammer off your asshole, Franz.
I won't be awake.
You want to test drive that? Be like, you in or you out? Pun intended.
It's a sensitive subject. I'm still licking my wounds over.
You give her her flowers then.
The Blessed Virgin Mary got those flowers last night. So
she has kids, correct?
We're not going to talk about this on the air. We'll talk about it off air. Okay. Yes.
Interestingly enough, it is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Yay! Colon correct.
Why are you getting a colonoscopy? Just standard?
It's that time in life where I need to do it.
Yeah, I'm way behind.
So I do my blood work with my doctor. Shout out to Dr. Reyna. I do my blood work quarterly. And so I know what's going on. And it was just, this is your age. You're overdue. You need to do that. I'm not excited about it, but I'm also a firm believer of if I don't check it and see, I can't, I'd rather. It's, we were talking, it's tough when you've got a young man or a woman who is accused of a sexual assault, who is sitting there next to you saying, I genuinely thought it was consensual. That is a difficult predicament to be in, to be sure, especially when you think about the way we view people who sexually assault others, especially in today's climate. Now, there's some bad human beings that rape and pillage human beings, and maybe they belong in a cage. There are also young men and women who are accused of doing stuff that's just, it's like, and we see it a lot, by the way, we see it a lot in Title IX at the college level of people making allegations. And it may never go criminal, but it's enough to get you booted out of LSU. It's enough to get you booted out of a university. It's, yeah.
People drunk at a bar. Yeah.
I like that people say, well, this is why you don't get drunk and do stuff. And that presupposes, again, that both individuals who are otherwise consenting adults, young adults, are not both drunk. And I think we also forget what it was like to be in our 20s. That's the other piece. That said, Mystical put it best. I'm either going to come in here with my blank in my hand or my, what's the lyric?
I don't remember.
Shake your ass.
Watch yourself. Shake your ass. Show me what you're working with.
It's, I came in here with my blank in my hand. Don't make me leave here with my foot in your, yeah.
You can say ass on the ass.
Shocked that he's accused of raping somebody and pled guilty. Does art imitate reality, or does reality sometimes imitate art?
I think when we talk about toxic masculinity and misogyny, we overlook the rap community because we're scared to be called racist.
Mm-hmm.
652 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Talking about this attorney who's being charged with facing felony charges tied to contraband brought to Elaine Hunt. He had weed with him. He had, and he admitted that the weed was his. He also had a firearm and other items brought onto the property at Elaine Hunt. I wanted to ask you one more question on this, Franz, before we moved on, and that was, when you talk about situational awareness, showing up to a prison with a gun in car and weed in car, that's one thing. When you show up to Elaine Hunt, is it a completely different thing because of everything else surrounding Elaine Hunt? When you talk about, I want to say it was 18 deaths in 2025. It might have been in the 20s or 30s the year before that. Like, Elaine Hunt has a track record of being other stuff going on behind the scenes.
So a gun in your car is normally okay.
Uh-huh.
Not at a prison facility.
Right. Well, now, if you pull in and you tell the guard, like, I was on my way here, the gun is like, I'm letting
They're
you
going to
know.
tell you to turn around and get out.
Okay. So transparency
full
was
disclosure, when they changed the concealed carry law, I go to federal court. They ask me before I get into the building. There's a security officer outside the building, and he says, or she says, do you have a concealed carry permit, concealed carry firearm? And I'm like, no. And so one day I said, what if before I get into the building, I say, I do have a concealed carry firearm. Totally forgot I had it on me.
Can I leave it with you?
Can I leave it with you? The answer is going to be no.
Right.
I'm not law enforcement. I don't get to check my firearm in a locker.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to arrest me.
Right.
Because I realized before I got in, oh, poop. And I turn around and put it in my car.
Right.
And I come into the federal courthouse. If I get through the doors, nobody asked me, I get through the doors and I'm about to go through the metal detector and I'm like, Oh, I totally forgot. I could technically get arrested because I'm on the property inside the federal courthouse with a firearm. It's totally situational.
Yeah.
Okay. But to your question, if you're going into a prison, and by the way, once you're through the gate, you're on the property. There is no defense of, and look, he has an exceptionally good attorney. I like Harry Daniel. He's a very good attorney.
Okay.
I might argue, hey, he just forgot about the fact that he had it in his car. And we have a law that otherwise says that your car is an extension of your home. So, I mean, if he would have left it in his car and he didn't try to bring it in, it's not really bringing contraband into the prison. That would be the, off the top of my head, that might be the argument.
Best of luck with that argument.
Right. It would have been better had it just been a little bit of weed.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Still contraband.
Yeah. But just a little bit of weed. The questionable deaths that have been in Elaine Hunt, there's been a lot revolving around drugs moving their way through the prison as well. So is this attorney opening himself up to now he's going to be a part of no. Every time he's visited that prison, did they just not find
the prosecuting entity, and I believe Hunt is in Iberville. Mm-hmm. The prosecuting entity might say you were possessing with the intent to distribute whatever, because I think he got caught with some paper and some other stuff, which all could be
other items.
Well, it could be personal. Maybe
Sure.
he buys in bulk. Maybe he, likes to not have to go back to the well. And look, there is an argument nationally that this is something that we could legalize soon.
That doesn't matter.
I'm just telling you.
Don't make me be the lawyer.
I'm just
that doesn't.
Oh, nullification may matter if you're trying
not
to escape.
Until it's nullified.
Oh, I think you get a sleeper juror on who believes that marijuana should be legal. And I say sleeper, I mean someone who gets on the jury. That could matter. I'm not saying it's going to win the day. I'm saying my position is the firearm is what's the troubling part.
Yeah.
That to me, the tone deafness of the situation is, dude, but it's also explainable. It's also, I have a firearm in my car. I was going to the prison. I forgot to take it out before I got there. The solution though is you let him turn around and leave.
Right. But when you add in the weed and you add in all the scenarios that have happened at Elaine Hunt, which by the way, all the questionable deaths at Elaine Hunt were not gunshot wounds. So that to me, that changes the whole thing. We got 3 minutes left. Louisiana-based rapper Mystical pleaded guilty. By the way, we're talking about a lot of really heavy content this morning. My apologies if kids are in the car. We should have given a disclaimer earlier on. We haven't said anything that's violating, but just as a heads up, as a parent, we've got one more heavy topic for you.
You're a good parent.
Mystical pleaded guilty of third-degree rape yesterday. The rapper, whose real name is Michael Tyler, was accused of beating, choking, and robbing a woman at his Ascension Parish home back in 2022. The victim said Tyler took her keys and phone so she couldn't leave. While she was looking for her missing money, she was forcibly raped.
And then afterwards,
once the sexual assault was over, Tyler allegedly let the woman leave after he forced her to send him money via Cash App.
I don't know what that's about.
Me neither.
That's like the icing on the cupcake right there.
To me, that sounds like there's a whole other world of stories that we're not privy to.
Right.
That has background on this that makes me question so much.
He pled guilty
to third-degree rape.
So down from...
He was indicted for first-degree rape, simple criminal damage to property, domestic abuse, battery by strangulation, simple robbery, and false imprisonment in the assault.
Let's go full circle. Third-degree rape, up to 20 years.
Okay.
First-degree rape, life. So with a straight face, one could say, hey, this was the best interest plea. He could in fact have raped her. But he's also been in jail, I think, since 2021. So there is an argument for maybe he gets sentenced.
Sentencing's going to be in June. Tyler faces, like you said, a maximum of 20 years.
I think he's been in jail.
Okay.
I think he's been in jail.
So my question to you is, with so much unexplained about backstory here, because it sounds like there's a lot of sideways stuff going on, how much of that backstory gets entered into the sentencing?
I think that conversation happened with the judge prior to the plea.
Yeah.
I think this is an Ascension Parish. I actually was visiting a federal inmate when he had been arrested. And so I was in the booth next to Mystical and his attorneys.
Tell me you didn't fanboy.
I did not. Like
I did when I met Tyler.
I didn't have my
Sunday.
phone. Can't bring your phone into prison.
There you go.
So I didn't have contraband.
Right.
So I couldn't selfie with Mystical and his attorneys. So here's the thing.
We got 30 seconds left.
Here's the thing. He could be looking up to 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Probably discuss some sentencing options before. If he's been in jail for 4 or 5 years,
that might be it.
It's possible it might be it based on these facts.
He's attorney Franz Borghardt. We do legally serve this time every single week. Appreciate you, brother.
Bye, guys.
We got hour 2 coming your way. We're going with heavy carbon capture next hour. Here comes news. Hey, if it doesn't look like Monday's going to work, could you do Friday 6:30 to 7?
This Friday?
Yeah.
Or
day after tomorrow. I know you normally have
Fisher.
Yeah.
I got Fisher, and then but let me. I'm supposed to get a call from the rectal folks.
Yeah.
To tell me, hey, this is when you need to be ready to go. I don't know why the hand gesture was included in there. This medicine, though, I hear it's disgusting.
It's from what I've heard.
It's bad flavored. The medicine. I had to pick it up today, and then do you take it like 2 days in advance, or?
I think it's 24 hours. I don't know.
I'm so excited.
I'm so overdue for a colonoscopy.
I'm serving at Mass on Sunday morning.
You got to be at a toilet, though, as soon as you take it.
Riding the lightning.
The one thing Franz isn't going to post selfies of.
Oh, there will be.
Oh, Lord. God.
Oh. Been so long.
We are giving away those Southern palette things.
Yeah, 5 pairs, correct?
5 pairs.
Yeah.
So winners will be pulled on social media Friday. Go to our Facebook. It's pinned to the top.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's try to hit it a few times. We got some entries. I'm always so last minute with this shit all the time. I know why, because they can't sell it. Or they might be struggling.
Right.
Why is that our problem?
It's not our problem, but it's our benefit.
I know.
So even though it's last minute, it's still.
I know, and that was my bad because Kate's like, "Can you copy me?" And I'm like, "My bad." I said it's 11th hour and put it on 2nd Street, but
Monday after the show, it's gonna be you, me, and Kate. I want to meet with Deborah Todd about the USS Kids return. I want to talk with. Oh.
I mean, hold on.
There we go. I've Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. Up to 38 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge to start the 7 o'clock hour. As we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. Sorry, like smashing coffee during the break and like it just could not get sentences out. I gotta like recover real quick. All right, we got a lot of ground to cover this hour. Actually, I say we got a lot of ground to cover. We're gonna be heavy carbon capture this hour, and the overall discussion revolves around not just putting carbon into the ground, but what's at stake on a grand scale, and who's behind the anti-carbon capture messaging. We've got David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemical Association coming up in our next segment. We've got Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute coming up at 7:35. If you haven't seen their report on Louisiana ruling the day for energy dominance, you need to. We'll dive into that later on. Right now, though, top stories and trending. Yesterday, we told you it looked like 7 parks might be closed from BREC and sold. Well, that number has been narrowed down to 3. A Tuesday afternoon Planning and Park Resources Advisory Committee meeting. 3 of those parks moved forward from BREC commissioners for final approval. The Alexander Street Park, the Belfair Park, and the Blueberry Street Park. This is an ongoing conversation we've been having during the BREC Room on Mondays here on Talk 107.3 FM, the last half hour of my show on Mondays. And BREC has a lot of parks and properties that they are looking at as potentially deeming, quote, obsolete. Looks like these 3 might be up for sale. Demolition has begun at Banks Elementary School, marking the end of a decades-long presence in the neighborhood. Crews are expected to continue tearing down the building over the next few weeks. What should happen with the property once the building's torn down? Well, a community meeting is scheduled for March 26th at Little Zion Baptist Church to give residents a chance to share their ideas and help shape the future of the community. Back to business today at the 19th JDC. The Judicial District Court closed at 3 p.m. yesterday because of a power and water outage. The closure included family court and the clerk of court's office as well. Everything was back up and running by 5:40 p.m., but that was after close of business, so it'll be back to normal today. Talked about this last hour. Rapper Mystical pleaded guilty to third-degree rape yesterday. Originally a first-degree rape charge and numerous other charges. The rapper, whose real name is Michael Tyler, was accused of beating, choking, and robbing a woman at his Ascension Parish home back in 2022. The victim said Tyler took her keys and phone so that she couldn't leave. Sentencing's coming up in June. A Livingston Parish jury yesterday also talked about this in Legally Served last hour. A Livingston Parish jury yesterday acquitted Melanie Curtin on simple rape and video voyeurism charges, finding that a recorded sexual encounter found during the years-long investigation of a former sheriff's deputy and his wife did not depict criminal activity.
Well, U.S. Central Command says bombers successfully dropped multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrator munitions on hardened Iranian missile sites that pose a risk to international shipping in the Strait of Hormuz.
Meanwhile, ships can't get through the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know if
Right.
this is does that make it safer? The deep, bunker busters or whatever they dropped on them, because as I understand it, like when you mess with Iran, you're messing with terrorists. One of the biggest reasons to go into Iran was the fact that they've been bankrolling terrorists for years. And when you are fighting somebody who bankrolls terrorists, there's nothing saying they're going to stop bankrolling terrorism while they're being attacked. So if you're on one of those ships that's like waiting to go through the Strait of Hormuz,
Right.
I'm not going to be the first, like the scene in Jaws. We talked about it last hour. When Mayor Larry Vaughn goes up to the guy and like, nobody's getting in the water. Yeah, no kidding. There's a shark in the water. Same thing here. Nobody's going through the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, because you don't know what kind of boat is going to roll up on your big boat full of oil and blow it up. I mean, think about that. A little bit of speedboat. You can run a P-row up along with it with enough
The thing is,
I know I'm being hyperbolic with the P-row.
The P-row. The thing is it's not going. Stabilization ain't gonna happen here. It's like, all right, how can we escalate it more at that point? You know what I mean?
From their end.
Yeah, from their
end.
When it comes to the U.S. getting help in the Strait of Hormuz, NATO allies are saying it's not our war. Fine.
Okay. Fine. Yeah, exactly. Fine. We know who our friends are. Asking a little help, like the Beatles, like Joe Cocker. Ask for a little help from our friends. And you don't want to be friends? Okay, cool. Don't holler at me when you need more help in Ukraine.
Right.
You know, like speaking of, like I'm the nation's spokesperson, right? Speaking on behalf of the nation, don't holler at me when you need help in the future. And oh, by the way, when it comes to, well, see, the thing is, everything's so intertwined. Like the people in Europe, you need liquefied natural gas. Yeah, you do. Where are you coming to get that from?
Correct.
Because once we
say fine, but
once we get the Strait of Hormuz situated and oil starts
once
flowing
goes
again,
through,
watch your prices go up just a little bit.
With spring break upon us, there couldn't be a worse time for a bed bug outbreak in the southeast. But here we are. Infestations are being reported in Florida, Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee. Gross.
Spring break. I know.
Ew.
I know. Bed bugs. As if you didn't have enough to worry about.
Right.
Enough things to catch.
I know. Jellyfish, a shark.
That's
not
Ernst. Even Ernst is out there. That's not what I was talking about, though.
No.
I was
I
was taking it to Club La Vila. That's where I was going.
Yeah, the nasty route, but still, yes. Gross, though.
I know. 712 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Due up for our first break of the hour. We'll talk with David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemical Association on the back end of the break. Before we take that break, let's tell you about the folks over at Mathern's. Highland at Kenilworth, you got Mathern's. Downtown, 3rd and Main, or 4th and Main if you want the parking lot side, you got Mathern's. But more importantly than that, LSU baseball's in the middle or just got started with a 9-game home stretch. There is no closer supermarket to Alec Box Stadium or Tiger Park for that matter than the Mathern's on campus. In the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center directly across the street from Tiger Stadium, you will find Mathern's. Oh, by the way, I don't know why I always forget this. I always tell you about the app, and I encourage you to download the rewards app, okay? But faculty, staff, and students, you get your LSU ID, you're getting 10% off at the Mathern's on campus in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. Get your specials on the app all week long at all 3 locations. But yeah, faculty, staff, and students, 10% discount at the Mathern's and the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. Hey, I don't know if we're going to have David. Write this number down. Hey, it's 7:15 at Talk 107. Well, 7:16 at Talk 107.3 FM. Slated to have David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemical Association on with us here. We're trying to connect with him right now. My apologies that we're not already connected, but hopefully we'll get David on real soon. I want to talk a little carbon capture. I want to talk a little bit about the legislative session. It's actually a big day over at LCA and LCIA. I believe they got their grand opening of their new headquarters. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. While I've got a minute, let me remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is their website. FlyBTR.com. Oh, we should have talked about this with Franz because he just flew out of the Baton Rouge Metro Airport last week. He went on a small mini pilgrimage and made use of the Baton Rouge Metro Airport and was super pleased, as always, with the service that's offered at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com. Daily flight to Washington, D.C. I can't tell you enough about that. In fact, when we had Mike Edwards on from the airport, I guess it was about a week ago, when we had Mike on. Here, Breland, come grab my phone. I've already got the text up, see if we can get hold of him there. When I had Mike on, they were talking about we might be in line for a second daily flight to DCY, to the Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C., at the very same time that Southwest Airlines is looking at canceling service to Dulles, which is way out in the boonies, and also looking at canceling service to O'Hare. So as you're looking at your options, as you're looking at travel options, you're looking at a narrowing of options in other places, but at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, it is business as usual. Learn more at flybtr.com. Nothing doing? No worries. We can move on. We got other topics to cover right now, and we will reconnect with David at a later time. Just to kind of set the table real quick, in our next segment, we've got Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute joining us. They put out a report on energy dominance and where Louisiana is at and where Louisiana should be. But it's a 20-page report. If you wanted to go check it out, go to the Pelican Institute's pelicanpolicy.org. They've got it under their reports over there. What's holding Louisiana back from energy dominance? Right from the jump. Louisiana should be one of the most powerful energy states in America. With our abundant natural resources, world-class ports along the Gulf Coast, and a skilled workforce with generations of experience in the energy sector. Yet, despite these advantages, Louisiana continues to fall short of its full energy potential. Daniel Erspamer heads up the Pelican Institute. We're going to have him on in our next segment to talk about the why and the how to get around it in our coming up after 7:35. Tell you what, let's go ahead and talk elections real quick instead. If you could grab 7, 8, and 9 from Louisiana Radio Network. We were going to do this later on in the show. Our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network running with a story this morning talking about the May 16th primary. We are just 2 days past being 2 months away. Secretary of State Nancy Landry is urging voters to check their party affiliation on their voter registration. Nancy says the May 16th primary is a closed primary. Of course, that we've been trying to pound this message home, and we'll continue to do so because only registered Republican voters or no party voters can vote in the Republican primary, and only registered Democrats or no party voters can vote in the Democratic primary. Cut 7, please.
Go to govote.com, GEAUX vote.com, or the GoVote mobile app, and make sure you're registered with the party that you want to be affiliated with.
How prepared are you for the May election, and are you already decided? That's where this conversation is going to go on the back end of it, but right now we'll get back into it. By the way, post up on our Facebook live feed. We're live on Facebook every single day, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Love getting involved in the chat. Love the corresponding back and forth with the chat. Are you ready for the May primary? Do you know what it's going to look like? Do you know what to expect with moving to a closed primary? And are you decided? Not going to ask you who you're voting for. Not doing that. But we are going to ask, have you made up your mind? Over on the Facebook Live, Talk 107.3's Facebook page. Landry says no party voters can declare on the day they vote if they want to vote in the Republican or in the Democratic primary. Cut 8.
If you're a no party voter, when you go to vote, the commissioner will ask you which ballot you want. Do you want the Republican ballot, the Democratic ballot, or the no party ballot?
The Senate Republican primary is expected to go into a runoff, and that'll be held on June 27th. Landry says if you vote in the Democratic primary in May, you can't switch and vote Republican primary in June.
you have to stick with the same party for May and June. But then in the November general election, the winners of the primaries advance the November election. Then you can vote for whoever you want. It's regular open general election.
By the way, the deadline to register for that May 16th primary election is April 15th, aka tax day. Register in person or by mail. April 25th is the deadline to do it at govote.com. Of course, that's GEAUX, govote.com. So, would love to break down polling numbers for you. I would absolutely love to. Only problem is there are so many polls out there pointing in so many directions that it's hard to get a grasp of what's accurate. Now, I know when it comes to polling, we all look for the numbers that correspond with what we believed moving in. When it comes to polling, confirmation bias will always rule the day. If you see numbers that back your candidate, then you know that polling is right? Now, if the numbers back some other candidate, then clearly that poll was rigged, or that poll was slanted based off of who paid for it. But we're looking at a spot right now where between the three main campaigns on the Republican side, that would be incumbent Bill Cassidy, Congresswoman Julia Letlow, and State Treasurer John Fleming. Between those three, you're going to see at least once a week. And then all the outlets, the news outlets out there, and those who also do polling, between all the entities involved, we're looking at roughly once a week to get a poll between now and Election Day over the course of the next 2 months. And there will be no shortage of information coming in. There will be no shortage of grinding and gnashing of teeth saying that poll's wrong, that poll's bought and paid for, that poll clearly you can't trust polling, blah, blah, blah. Nobody ever called my house. All the things go into it, like I said, until you find the numbers that support your candidate. But when you look at all the polls as an aggregate, when you look at them all together and start combining things and taking averages, it's looking more and more like Senator Bill Cassidy is going to be in a runoff. And the more angled lenses you look at, the tougher it is for Bill Cassidy to survive that runoff. Now, it depends on the poll as to whether or not it's Cassidy and Letlow or Cassidy and Fleming. That when you break things down like that, it's kind of a toss-up. But when you look at them as a whole, once you get to that runoff question, it circles back around to Bill Cassidy still has a lot of work to do. I'm curious where everybody's pulse is in this audience. I know that there's oftentimes a lot of anti-Bill Cassidy hate as the incumbent. I know that there is a lot of love for Congresswoman Julia Letlow. I also know that there's a lot of love for John Fleming as well. But there's a part of this equation that I don't want to overlook, and that is, what do the next 2 months look like? What does grassroots retail campaigning look like for a U.S. Senate race? When you get down to it, what kind of game does Congresswoman Letlow have what kind of ground game does she have? By the way, we got Congresswoman Letlow coming up at 8:35 this morning for a little DC Current presented by LABI. I don't really want to get into the campaign too much with her because that segment is dedicated to her currently serving as the 5th District Congresswoman, kind of a weekly check-in or every other week check-in on the job that she's doing right now. We might dive into the campaign a little bit, but I would like it to remain on task. But what kind of ground game does she have in a U.S. Senate race? She has, I mean, we can rewind the clock back to when she was first elected. No, I'm sorry, when she first took office and the tragic circumstances that she had to go through in taking that office. And the way she's put her head down and dove into the office and learned the office and learned the issues and has taken, like, you can move into Congress and just be a congressperson, or you can move into Congress and do the dadgum job. And I would say the latter with Congresswoman Letlow. She's learned the job. She's learned on the fly. What kind of ground game does she have? That's what I want to, that's what we're going to see over the next 2 months. What kind of game does John Fleming have? That's what I want to see over the next 2 months as well. John Fleming has been a congressman before. He has run races before within a district. And he has run a statewide race before as well to become elected as treasurer. It's a different game right now with that. I mean, when he ran for treasurer, he ran as the MAGA candidate. He ran as the guy who was the closest to Donald Trump. Well, that's not the case this time because Congresswoman Letlow has that endorsement. Meanwhile, there's Bill Cassidy sitting over there as an unbelievably seasoned politician. And no matter what you think of him, his ground game shows. His ground game does show. And when he shows up to a plant along the river, or when he shows up to a town hall meeting to talk about the work that he's doing in the Senate, how much retail politics will play out for Senator Bill Cassidy? You know, he could be hated on message boards. He could be hated on the internet. He could be hated from 9 till noon when Moon calls him a psycho every day. I get all that. But what's going to carry more weight there? Internet headlines or the actual shaking hands and kissing babies? He's good at that. He's also good at being able to post up press releases that show where he's getting dollars back into individual municipalities. You can't go 2 days as someone who's in the media. I can tell you can't go 2 days without getting a handful of press releases that show, $500,000 coming to Terrebonne Parish, 1.2 million going to Plaquemines Parish, where you get a press release talking about, the airport in Hammond getting money. Like those sorts of things, they matter when it comes to people stepping into the voting booth. But I don't want to get too far from my point. Let me get back around to the point. Is when you're looking at the next 2 months, I want to look ahead to that third month. If all the polls say Senator Cassidy's going to be in a runoff and he's going to get walloped by double digits in that runoff, if all those polls are saying that, I want to know what and I apologize for the phrasing here, what's the butthurt factor going to be in the runoff? As you're seeing it right now, messaging from Fleming is taking shots at Letlow. And, Bree Lynn, did you get that clip that I sent you? The Jeff Landry clip.
I have 3 Jeff Landry from weeks ago.
No, this is something I emailed you yesterday.
Let me look.
Check your email real quick. We got 2.5 minutes until we get to our news. I'd like to play this if we could right here. I should have brought this up during the break, but we didn't know we were going to. Oh, hell.
It's going to be a good one. He's resending it to me.
So.
I don't have it.
That's all right. We should have checked on this. My apologies, y'all. We're doing this in real time, and we'll use Wednesday. Forward. Brit. Tell you what, I don't think we're gonna have time to get to it here. Coming up when we get to the end of the show, Governor Jeff Landry recorded a video message supporting Congresswoman Letlow, but it's really taking a shot at John Fleming, and it's talk about his votes on carbon capture. Jeff Landry talks about in this video. John Fleming will tell you he is anti-carbon capture, but he's previously, I believe they cited 6 different instances where John Fleming has voted in favor of carbon capture. When you have anti-candidate messaging, one versus the other, or if you've got number 2 hitting on number 3 and number 3 hitting back at number 2, or number 1 hitting at number 3, however it breaks down. When you've got that kind of back and forth, can you turn the tide to make sure you stay against the person you were against the first time around? So basically the question I'm asking is, if the runoff is Letlow and Cassidy, it's safe to assume that Cassidy's not going to pick up a whole lot of Fleming voters. But will Letlow pick up those voters, or will they clock out? Conversely, if it's Fleming versus Cassidy, it's safe to say that Cassidy's not going to pick up a whole lot of Letlow voters. But will they turn to Fleming, or will they clock out? We've seen it before. We've seen it before in elections, and quite honestly, it's the reason that the state moved to close primaries for these elections. My question is, will we as a state get the result that was desired by moving to a closed primary? It's 7:30. Here's news. Okay. Joe Teal, you are definitely a Bill Cassidy lover. You are the only one that half-ass speaks highly of the ass clown. Well, you misspelled liar, Joe. That doesn't serve you well. You are a liar. How am I? What? No, so what? A liar and a Democratic ass kisser. How would cite for me the lie, please, and cite for me the Democratic ass kissing. Please, it's one thing to call me names, Joe, and you're a keyboard tough guy. I get that. Cite for me one lie, please. One. Jesus. Renee says Fleming ran for state treasurer just to get his foot in the door. That's also true. That is also true. John Fleming, and I really would like to get a hold of Fleming's people because this needs to be talked about at some point. As a Louisianan, you were told during the treasurer's campaign 3 years ago that you're a pawn. You were told that you don't matter. You are a stepping stone to get back into the Capitol. And the thing of it is, when you look at the campaign as a whole, I think John Fleming's getting a raw deal. He's getting a raw deal. But it's hard to find sympathy for the guy when he stepped on you to get to where he is. Joe, we're just going to wait around for you to cite the lie, please. We're just going to sit here and wait for that, okay? I love the fact that people think they know who I'm voting for. Yeah. Wow. I mean, let's start with the fact that he's probably a moron. I don't know. Oh, I have. That's Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Welcome to you in 2 minutes. Weird question. Is that the meaning?
Maybe. I don't know.
He hasn't offended me yet, but I'll talk like you if I have to.
Well. I encourage that kind of shit. By the way, and like, am I back on Facebook? All right. By the way, let's not get it twisted. Senator Cassidy is a U.S. senator. And I, as an American, have respect for the offices that are held and those that serve within those offices. Congresswoman Letlow is a U.S. Congresswoman. John Fleming has been a congressman. Like, the level of respect I have for those who serve and aren't constantly on the take is one that I just, having reverence for an office is not ass kissing. No, Byron, morons are most certainly welcome. I mean, hell, I'm a moron and I host the damn show.
I was going to say, if you could be here, Byron, I can certainly be here.
But there's a difference between like having reverence or having respect for someone who has given his life to service versus what?
That might be a tail call if you want to pick up.
Grab it.
Talk 107.3. Oh, it's David.
Who?
David Cresson.
Oh.
You want to talk to him real fast?
Yeah, put him on home.
You did. Hang on, Brian's going to get you.
Yo. Nah, yeah, I had you down for 7:15.
Throw out this day.
I don't know.
Throw out this day. You don't have to do this day.
No, hey, tomorrow I have tomorrow at 8:15 open. Can I get you in for there? Okay. No, I know. Perfect. Man, I'm sorry. Shoot. Well, let me double check to make sure it's not on me. You know what? I'm looking at the email right now. David, this one's on you, man. We'll get you in 8:15 tomorrow. We got you covered. Nah. All right. Now I'll see you tonight. All right, later. Programming note. David Cresson from LCA joining us at 8:15 tomorrow. It happens sometimes, y'all. Live radio moves very, very fast, and we just had a little mix-up right there. So we'll get it squared away. David Cresson from LCA will join us tomorrow. We'll talk about the legislative session. We'll talk about the grand opening. They're moving into some new digs. Looking forward to that. And we're going to talk a lot of carbon capture. Hey, speaking of carbon capture, let's dive in. Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute on with us right now. Good morning, Daniel. How are you, sir?
Hey, Brian, doing great. How are you?
Doing very, very well as well. So the Pelican Institute puts out a 20-page report on what's holding us back when it comes to energy dominance. Give me the Cliff's Notes on the report, please.
Absolutely. Well, this stems from a report we issued earlier this year that laid out what we believe is the pathway, the roadmap to energy dominance. How do we really create that opportunity? And we thought, well, you know what? We better also look at what stands in the way. And really, we looked at this in three buckets. The first is statutory issues, laws that need to be changed in order to create the free market environment to energy dominance.
Yep.
The second was issues like regulatory and legal issues, the coastal lawsuits, challenges with slow permitting or bureaucracy. A lot of things that are being addressed right now. And then the third was the state of our discourse on these issues. And there's as Louisiana stands as a leader in energy, the energy economy, or at least should be, it also opens up to lots of push from the climate change and environmental activists on the left of the political debate.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found is upwards of $115 million that has been deployed in Louisiana to try to stop energy infrastructure issues and to drive climate change, including some that that sort of claim to be or present as conservative. So, look, it's not that we are against open debate. It's not that we think any of this is wrong. It's just we think the public ought to know what the debate is, how it's being framed, and make sure we elevate voices that bring the truth to the table.
Okay, that's an important point right there. Nobody's talking about shutting down one side of the argument. We just don't want the man behind the curtain. There needs to be transparency behind where the dollars are coming from, because when you see, who is it? Earth Justice?
Earth Justice,
and
yep.
All the little trickle down from there. It doesn't just start with Earth Justice. The money actually starts before Earth Justice. So, what did the Pelican Institute find on that front?
Yeah, what we found is that the vast majority of this money is coming out of other states from, pretty admittedly leftist vehicles. And so we saw the Bloomberg Philanthropies, which is led by Michael Bloomberg, is former mayor of New York, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few others. Just a quick overview. The biggest contributors, almost $43 million from California,
mm-hmm.
almost $22 million from Washington, D.C., and almost $18 million, most of which is from Mr. Bloomberg from New York City. Which always reminds me of that salsa commercial, New York City.
Old El Paso. It was Old El Paso.
It stuck with us all these years.
Yes, it has. That's good marketing right there. But you're talking about like this. That's the New York's. That's the old "Where's the Beef" days right there, Daniel.
Yeah,
you're dating yourself, man.
Oh no, I'm gonna go buy some just for men. We looked at these, and anyone who's paying attention to or has spent some time researching sort of the mechanisms of politics, some of these names are going to sound familiar. The Waverly Street Foundation, Windward Fund, the Kellogg Foundation, the Bezos Earth Fund, the list goes on and on. The Ford Foundation, and again, to your point, I think we have made this abundantly clear over the years. The Pelican Institute and me personally, I think really good, robust, open debate, civil discourse is one of the most important things we can do.
Absolutely.
So and look, when it comes to this, the topic du jour right now, of course, is carbon capture, but this is a much broader issue about energy infrastructure in the state. And, we acknowledge there are legitimate concerns and debates to be had about parts of the carbon capture issue, whether it's eminent domain or the role of local government. These are things that ought to be discussed and debated, and people have legitimate and important points to bring to the table. And that's how discourse works. And then you reach a conclusion. The challenge here is when, debate comes fueled by massive dollars that have a very different objective than some of the thoughtful leaders who are raising questions.
Mm-hmm.
For this money, this is about shutting down Louisiana's energy infrastructure. This is about a transition from fuels, from carbon into all sorts of alternative fuels. And look, we're for all of the above and below.
Same.
But let's have a real debate about it.
Okay, and this is where it gets interesting, Daniel. Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute is our guest. This is where it gets interesting because you're talking about environmental groups. And I'm air quoting. You're talking about environmental groups who are sending anti-environmental messaging because of the players involved, or at least that's my takeaway, is that carbon capture, carbon offsets, these have all been quote unquote environmental moves to get you to a net zero, a net neutral when it comes to carbon. This is what Europe is looking for when they're going to import LNG. This is why when we have build outs here for new factories, new jobs, whatever, they're looking for carbon offsets. I thought that was because of an environmental concern in the first place. Might not be an environmental concern that I agree with, but if that's what the consumer is looking for, that's what we're here to serve. And then all of a sudden, Sierra Club, Bezos Earth Foundation, like people like this who would otherwise be in favor of protecting planet Earth, now stepping up with tons of dollars to fight something that was originally, a climate change discussion.
It's really a head scratcher. It's one of these weird ironies, and I think what's happened is, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right.
And again, that's not what policy debate is supposed to be about. It's about what's the outcome we're looking for, what are the principles we hold dear, and how should we, in what manner should we engage in debate in them? And and look, I'll make one more point. It's not to suggest outside voices or even dissenting voices are bad. These are good. Just be honest about it.
Right. Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute is our guest. I got a couple minutes left while we're talking about carbon capture. And I want to stick with carbon capture. We'll get to a little bit of the legislation that's proposed on that front as well, because I believe it's next week. This is going to be a pretty big topic. But sticking with this, amidst all the political back and forth, how much of the science gets lost in this? Because I'm finding more and more it's harder to talk science of carbon capture because people will tell you who they're aligned with and just call it junk science because there's no confirmation bias involved.
Yeah, and this is one of the real consequences of sort of our algorithm-driven debate, right? Is we really and look, we've at the Pelican Institute have not historically done a lot of work in the carbon capture space.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, as we more and more debate on this, our hackles and spidey senses were raised as we were listening and paying attention to the debate. Absolutely. This is not a debate by and large, and there are exceptions to this, of course, but that has been grounded in any sort of science, any sort of reason. And look, here's our perspective. We should treat these projects like any other industrial or oil and gas or energy infrastructure project. How do we set the rules clearly and transparently? How do we make sure there isn't overreach of government into private industry who's trying to do something right? And how do we make sure that other things like eminent domain laws and others, private property, are protected. So, how do we make sure this is a debate just like any other? And it seems to have spun off dramatically into things that really aren't relevant and certainly aren't driven by the science.
Let's talk a little bit about the eminent domain part of this, and we'll get back around to some of the science in a minute. But the eminent domain part of this, I think, is an important part of the discussion, because it's one thing to have a fear of science that you don't understand. It's another thing to have a legitimate fear of the government. And I respect the hell out of that. Property rights should be property rights. Where does eminent domain factor into this? Because as I understand it, we haven't seen eminent domain used for pipelines in this regard. When we hear of eminent domain, we hear about like widening an interstate or laying down a new road. Yeah. Like when you hear eminent domain, your mind goes to the government is going to take my land.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I think this has been by and large, a fear tactic used by opposition to carbon capture. However, I think you'd probably agree, Brian, this is an important issue. We want to make sure that we protect private property rights. And as a fundamental rule at the Pelican Institute, we don't believe the power of eminent domain to take someone's private property should be used by the government to benefit another private entity.
Right.
It should be very narrowly used for roads and genuine infrastructure projects. So, there have been arguments that some of these energy pipelines and things like that can be really public good projects, just like the government. Mm-hmm. There's debate over that, but that's where the debate should lie. Where's the line? How do we set the rules? And then everybody can go play by the rules.
Yeah, because it gets very, very granular. As I learn more and more, I realize like how nitpicky, and I don't say that term nitpicky in a bad way, but like how nitpicky some of this stuff can be. I was given an example the other day of where would eminent domain come into play? Well, like let's say someone owns a piece of property that has a pipeline underneath it, and that person passes. And through the line of succession, you might have multiple parties involved in taking over that land. Now we might have a back and forth debate over like who's in favor and who's against, and there's a legitimate debate right there. There's no instance where a company's going to come in and say, we need a CO2 pipeline and we're taking your land to do it.
Right. That's I'm candidly not a lawyer, but that is my understanding as well, even though I do play one on TV sometimes.
I do my best to try and keep up, but I mean, it's trying to go up and down escalator.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're exactly right. And look, these are issues that certainly the energy sector, but broadly in our economy that the courts and folks have to deal with all the time. This is not new to carbon capture or new to any of these other emerging technologies. But this is, again, why and I hope to sort of keep harping on this, but set the rules, make them transparent, and let everyone play by the rules. And I want to acknowledge one other thing, Brian. One of the complicating factors of this is many of us, but myself included, have questions about how this industry really popped up. There was an explosion of carbon capture interest.
Don't say explosion.
I'm sorry. Bad. There was an increase.
There you go. Okay. Those work.
Thank you. In interest around a federal tax credit and subsidy.
Right. And look, it became more about the tax credit.
That's right. And look, we don't agree with that policy.
Same.
We have argued before that the federal government shouldn't be in the business, or any government for that matter, shouldn't be in the business of picking winners and losers in the economy. But that's not the job of the state government that is tasked with setting the rules of industrial projects to try to correct a wrong. Mm-hmm. Whether we like it or not, there's a marketplace for it, and the marketplace may go away. It may not. It may have existed without the credit. There's all sorts of ways to look at that. But the fact is, again, our job as a state and as regulators and as a legislature is to set clear rules to make the process as transparent and efficient as possible, just like we're trying to do on every other project, so that operators who are here for whatever reason they're here have the opportunity to succeed.
Like Joe Dirt said about the fireworks stand, it's not about you. It's about the consumer. He's Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute. We always appreciate time. Talk to you soon.
Always, my friend. Thank you.
Quick break. We're coming back next right here on Talk 107.3 FM with a little This Day in History. Joe's back. Okay, so he didn't go away. He says, if I believe a carbon capture, the only reason you do is because somebody is paying you money. It's a way to line the pockets, and the middle-class working taxpayers have to flip the bill again. I hope you're using voice to text, Joe. I really do. Okay, so when I asked you to point out where I lied, this is your response. So I didn't lie. Good to know. That's a good starting point. The second part is, if you don't believe in carbon capture, you support communist China. I mean, if we're going to be hyperbolic about shit and make accusations about people, if you don't support carbon capture, you support communist China. That's if we're going to go with the rhetoric and not have a reasonable conversation, that's fine. I'm not on the hook for anybody on the carbon capture front. I don't get paid for this take. What I do is I look at history. I look at the last 50 years. I look at, why is New Orleans not Houston? Why is Morgan City not Baytown? Or why does Baytown even exist? Because we effed this thing up last time. And we played Chicken Little, and we got in our own bag and said, it's not about the customer. It's about what we want, not what they want. It's a simple economic decision as far as what our future is going to look like. This is our big chance to have a mulligan on the oil and gas industry in the form of LNG. This is a big opportunity for us. And as I listen to scientists, and I have the humility to be able to say, I don't know everything in the world. So from time to time, I will defer to someone who knows more than me. I think we lack humility on that front. Oh, there's the spot right now. Yeah. By the way, I don't make any money off of that spot. Yeah. Oh, look, there was a time. Oh, those of y'all who've been in the chat for years know this one. Y'all remember this one. Do you remember the commercial about the poop? My number 2 doesn't look like a number 2. Do y'all remember that commercial? Oh, my God. Oh, it was freaking everywhere. It was everywhere.
Number 2.
Is there a number 3? Like, that was the commercial. That was the beginning of the commercial. I don't remember what it was for, but we had listeners like calling the front desk, calling Miss Judy, saying, you got to get that thing off the air. And it was coming from Your Money Now, and it was coming from, we were with CBS at the time. And then they would buy LRN, and they would buy us. And between the national and the local, that commercial aired 5 times an hour. And say, I don't know, it's not I swear it's not us.
All right, well, I'll take ZipRecruiter all day long.
Yeah. Except that the dumbass jingle sticks around your head all day long.
I'll sing it, yeah.
And I always change words to it. So in my head, it's kiss my ass at ZipRecruiter. Now that you've heard that, that's how you're going to sing it. Can I tell you? Between going to these receptions at night and
You could be fucking up like me.
Today, here's an example. Today, I'm gonna go from doing the show to booking tomorrow's show to writing Rotary News to being out for Hey. How are you?
Good morning.
Did I miss a text? I did not. You were able to get in the building. Good.
Yeah, the lady let me in.
All right. I didn't.
So Lady Jared must be.
She must be here already. Good deal. All right. We'll give us a minute to get through our this day in history, and we're coming to you after news. Yep. Thank you. 7:55. Yep. I need the juice of this song. I need the energy right now. Whew. It's intense.
I feel like I'm on steroids.
That's something. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got a busy third hour coming your way in just a little bit. We're going to talk Buddy Walk. We're going to talk Nexus, Louisiana. And we're going to talk with Congresswoman Julia Letlow our 5th District Congresswoman. She is, I want updates on the shutdown. I want updates on the Save America Act. I actually want to walk through a little intellectual exercise with Congresswoman Letlow, because I have questions as a conservative. I have questions about the Save America Act, and I think I'm on the same side of the fence as she is. But I want to see if she got to her points of reasoning the same way I did. We're going to have a little fun with Congresswoman Julia Letlow at DC Current. That's next hour. Right now, though, let's hit up this day in history. Bobbity back in time. Yes.
All right, stepping back to the year 1925. It's morbid, but it was the deadliest tornado in U.S. history, killing nearly 700 people across Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. It's still unmatched. Even the Reno tornado didn't top it.
700 people?
Yeah, back in 1925.
You think I'm for a tornado because we see a lot more tornadoes now, but they're like quick hitters.
Right.
Right? That's got to be sustained.
I would say Joplin and El Reno. That was deadly.
Oh, the Joplin one that had the Netflix documentary?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh, that was so sad.
I know.
The kids, the high school kids in the documentary. Yeah.
It was terrible. All right, 1963, it was a right to a lawyer. Gideon versus Wainwright. Supreme Court says states must provide attorneys to defendants who can't afford one.
Wainwright?
Yeah, Wainwright.
Oh.
All right, 1960.
That was Cartwright. That was me. Sorry about that.
1965, the Soviet cosmonaut, he stepped outside his spacecraft. He was the first human to float in space. This happened just 2.5 months later. Ed White, excuse me, I'm tongue twisting over here. Ed White, he was the first American to do it 2 months later.
Okay.
But a Soviet got to it first.
Okay.
Dang it. All right. And you know what? Nothing in 2021. We're going to go with this. U.S. President Joe Biden agrees Russian President Vladimir Putin is a killer in an ABC News interview. Remember that?
No joke.
Remember that?
Yeah.
What you got?
As far as this day is concerned,
yep.
I've been looking at birthdays. I haven't been focused.
All right. Let's see. Notable birthdays. Hang on. Where is my stuff? Adam Levine, Queen Latifah, Dane Cook.
Dane Cook.
I have to.
Underrated. I'll take up for Dane Cook.
Dane Cook.
Underrated. He gets a lot of crap for just the way he performs and whatnot, but
I like Dane Cook.
Yeah.
I do.
All right.
Who else you got?
All right. Well, I mean, not nearly as important as Dane Cook, but former President Grover Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Notable deaths.
Also, Neville Chamberlain's in that mix. And notable deaths, who you got?
Chuck Berry.
That's what I had too.
Yep, Chuck Berry.
Okay.
Johnny Appleseed. I have to go with it. It's
Seriously?
random. It's random, but he was a real guy, and he went on to become a full-on American legend. Died in 1845.
Okay.
I had to.
Johnny Appleseed was real.
I never knew that. All right, National Day today. Awkward Moments Day. Breland has 80 of them on the show all the time.
Awkward Moments Day. You know what I got? It's National Sloppy Joe Day.
Ooh.
I know.
Let's go with that.
I know.
Can I stick one into somebody real fast?
What?
For people following on Facebook, Joe Till.
Why? No.
I'm joking.
All right.
It's awkward.
Coming up on 8 o'clock, news, traffic, weather. Hour 3 is next. Kill my mic. Ooh, I got out early, didn't I?
That's not good.
Just as a heads up, because we haven't brought this up before. We don't elevate them.
Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated. Exactly.
Where is he? Which chair is he?
So
why don't
y'all
you
will
sit
take
here?
these 2 chairs right here, and Brian will move over right there.
Okay. Which one's more camera? He's better looking than I am.
Get on that one in the middle. Y'all will all be in the camera, but that one has the best shot.
All right. Johnny Appleseed.
That was funny.
A real person, y'all. I was
That
like,
was funny.
okay. I never knew that. I thought that was just a joke in school.
Yeah. I had a show in here for several years.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it look the same?
There was class here.
In a door, I think at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. How'd you end up in that position?
Well, long story short, I started in Top 40 Radio at KSMB in Lafayette under Bobby Novosad and became his assistant program director. And I'm never going to take his role. So I left and got the program director position at Wayne.
Following you, man.
1.5 at iHeart. iHeart goes through restructuring all the time, which is totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got rid of a lot of people. I got laid off January 2020 before COVID and went more to marketing and comms for my career and for a couple of years. And then December of 2023, Gordy's like, come on. It was like, I wanted to come here, but never a good time for Gordy and the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was a good time for him, I'm like,
You're in the middle of something.
yeah, I was in
Yeah.
the middle of something. And so December of 2023, I was like, I can do both. I can do marketing and comms. And so I was doing it for the state, and I took this on, come in to my grad. So I'm actually on air at 100.7 at Tiger, 6 to 10 at night. And then I do Brian show. But I'm
6 to 10.
I'm boisterous. Like, I don't, like, could you imagine a 14-hour day?
That's a long time. That's kind of what I was thinking.
So,
Yeah.
Leslie was Chopin. The first name again?
I'm sorry?
Leslie
Neil.
Neil.
Chopin.
Sorry.
All good. All good.
Had a little mix up early in the show with a guest that was supposed to be on, and they missed it. Just when it throws you off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Throws you off.
Tough to recover sometimes.
Using the bass
Are
bone.
there any talking points that I need?
Just the buddy walk is Saturday.
It's this Saturday.
This
Yep.
Saturday,
Yep.
and it's we always have it third weekend of March, just so that every 7-8 years it falls on World Down Syndrome Day. So this year it will be on World Down Syndrome Day, which is kind of brings a little more juice to the party, if you will.
Right. He's doing the focus there.
yeah, I think they had glass here.
Am I on camera, or do I need to move over?
Hold on. Let me get you. I think you're good. Let me see. Yeah, no, you're perfect. Actually, scoot over just a hair.
Yep.
Perfect.
We're always on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
No breaks.
Microphone's good.
Yeah, you're good. Well, we'll know once we're on the air, but yeah, but we're good.
When I did radio, trying to get all your people lined up is so much work
I bet.
for the time period that you're doing it. And then somebody drops out or whatever.
Because once it's off and running, it's live. Once it's off and running, I mean, there's
No slowing down.
I would say show prep ain't nothing like making sure your chess pieces are in place.
Well, I go guest heavy because a one-man show in the morning. There's no back and forth. Most morning shows have at least 2 people on them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, look upstairs. We got Hester and Matt Flint,
Yeah.
and even they rely on both their producers for a lot of content as well. To do a one-man show is boring. Like,
Yeah.
who wants to hear from me for 3 hours?
Right.
So I try to go guest heavy, but I always have at least 2 segments at the ready to where, like, I'll I could do a hot take from here to there or
Mhm.
whatever if someone has to bail. So
Bob Dylan with his guitar, his harmonica, and the rest of your accompaniment.
right. All right.
What? What I do?
No, Ellen just sent a calendar invite for 4 p.m. on March 24th. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
It's- 806 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. We're actually holding at 39 degrees to start off the 8 o'clock hour. Brian here with you, Bree Lynn producing, coming to you live from the 180 Pros studio. Going to get into our third hour fully in just a minute, but I do need to remind you about 180 Pros, 180pros.com. Don't get yourself an IT provider. Get yourself an IT partner. Talk about somebody who bases their success off of your success. That's what they do over at 180 Pros. Build out your network. Awesome. They know all the tech. They know their game inside and out. But more than that, they know their relationships. Relationship with you. When they're building out your network, is your network up and running? How long does it take when something goes down to get a response and a recovery? That's what 180 Pros specializes in. And oh, by the way, if you want to call them, you're not calling some 800 number around the world. You're calling 225-330-2200. Got to be local. I mean, if you want that relationship, you know how long distance relationships go. Get yourself a local relationship, a local IT partner. 180pros.com. All right, coming up this weekend is the Buddy Walk. Joining us now to talk about it, we've got Dan Claitor. We've got Neil Chopin in studio with us. Gentlemen, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Well,
Brian.
thank you.
Glad to have you all in here. All right, let's give the basics on the Buddy Walk, what it is, what it supports, and really how long it's been around.
So the Buddy Walk is a national event that local chapters with various Down syndrome organizations put on.
Mm-hmm.
So here locally in Baton Rouge, we've got the Down Syndrome Awareness Group, and the organization has been around since the mid '80s. Little bit of a brief break with Buddy Walks, but we're back. We've had them every year since 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and this year looking to have the biggest one we've ever had in the history of the organization.
Well, that's saying something, though, because last year, if I'm reading right from the website, 2,000 participants, over 2,000 participants last year.
Yeah, it's always tough to get a firm number on how many people we had, but
yeah,
we estimate somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 last year, and are expecting hopefully around 3,000 this year.
And do we have a goal for the amount of money raised? Because I saw the number on the website from last year as well. That's a big get.
Yeah, so our fundraising is kind of a two-prong approach. We have corporate sponsorships, which totaled about 94,000 this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the team sponsorships, our goal is 100,000. So what's unique about this event, not only are we trying to build a mountaintop experience for the community that we serve, but also fundraise to propel us and fuel us for the next 364 days as well.
Talk to me a little bit about that phrasing, mountaintop experience.
So we're looking to provide the Super Bowl for individuals with Down syndrome. We want to put on the biggest party that they've ever been to each and every year. Every year we're trying to make it bigger, better, with a little extra pop. We want to create something that they're excited to go to, something that they're excited to bring their families and friends to, and something that the entire community can come together and enjoy together.
So we're going to come together, we're going to walk, but that's not all that's going on. There's a whole lot surrounding the Buddy Walk. What's the rest of the surrounding?
Yeah, so obviously in name alone, you have to have a walk,
right,
to check the box. We're walking around the block and only walking long enough to say that we did it, and then the rest of the day is a party. We'll have all sorts of food vendors out, feeding everybody, keeping everybody fed and hydrated, and lots of activities. We've got inflatables, train rides, a bubble bus, a DJ in the morning, and then after the walk, pants party. A local band.
Love pants party.
Yeah, they're great. We're excited. So this is the first year we've had a band. So excited to see what that brings to the table. And then we've got a Build-A-Bear deal where kids can come build their own stuffed animals. 4 or 5 inflatables. Just a lot going on. Face painting. You name it, we've got it. Bella Bowman's bringing a bunch of their princesses and superheroes, so they're going to be out walking around. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's a big tailgate as well. Families bring their tents, and they're all set up, and there's kind of a competition on who has the coolest stuff for you to drop by and eat. And everybody in the community is invited, and it's just a heck of an event.
We got Neil Chopin and Dan Claitor in with us talking about this weekend's Buddy Walk. If we could pause on the Buddy Walk for just a second to talk about the mission over at DSAG. What is it y'all are doing? What is it you're trying to affect in the community?
So in the simplest terms, the Down Syndrome Awareness Group is built to connect and celebrate the Down syndrome community in the capital area. So East Baton Rouge Parish and the surrounding parishes is the geographic area that we serve. But we're looking to create a community that supports one another from a individual perspective, family perspective. So with that, we've got a number of events throughout the calendar that are geared just to getting the families together and building a community. And then a number of paid partnerships with different areas, businesses that are more geared towards, individual attention for the individuals that we serve.
And this obviously Saturday's the biggest day on the calendar year, though. This is
without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
We missed a few details along the way. Give us the details of where it's at and how folks can get involved.
Yeah, so you can you find all the details on our website, dsagbr.org. And there's a button to go to the Buddy Walk, and we'll link you to the Buddy Walk page. But the event is at AZ Young Park Saturday morning, March 21st. The event starts at 9. Walk starts at 11, and the party is going to run somewhere between 1 and 2.
So that's right next to the Capitol, the state capitol. If you're standing on the steps of the state capitol and looking towards Huey-Long, just to the right, between the river.
Yeah, it's very, very close to the Capitol. In fact, I would imagine parking over there on that over by the train tracks is probably going to be filling up quick.
Yeah, there's parking by the train tracks in it as well. There's a right on the corner of North Street and River Road. We have a garage that they've given us access to as well.
Very, very cool stuff. So coming up Saturday, do folks just show up? Do they need to register? What needs to be done beforehand?
We would love people to go onto the website and register. There's only a $5 admission fee, if you register. This is something that is set up to foster community awareness, and in the spirit of that, we ask that people go online and pay, but it's a public event, right? There's nothing to prevent anybody from just getting wild hair and walking up to the event the day of.
Nice.
When you go on the site, you can register to join different teams. And so they have different teams, and they try to raise the most money or get the most participants or whatnot. And you can look at the different teams and choose one. You don't have to be invited to join the team. You can just join the team because you want to.
Love that. Just hop on board with somebody else's team. We've got 1 minute left. We're talking with Neil Chopin and Dan Claitor about this weekend's Buddy Walk with the Down Syndrome Awareness Group. Within this 1 minute, this is about awareness. So if you can clarify one misconception about Down syndrome within this minute, what would it be?
Man, that's a tough one. I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions with Down syndrome. But I would say that just the misconception that these individuals are wildly different from you and I. They want to be loved. They want to be included. They want to have fun. They're way more normal and just like you and I than anybody gives them credit for. And I think also just what they're capable of doing is also a misconception. My son, he's 6. He commands every room that he walks into, and I wouldn't be surprised if he runs for mayor one day.
My grandson, Finn, is the best wingman that you could ever ask for. So
awesome stuff.
Good guy to go with.
Learn more at dsagbr.org, dsagbr.org, or just show up on Saturday out at AZ Young Park. Gentlemen, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning. Looking forward to a great weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
We are at 8:15 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Moving over to Nexus, Louisiana. We got Tony Zanders in the house next. No, my pleasure. Absolutely.
321 is an extra chromosome on 21. We didn't really hit that. But on your trivia of who died and whatnot, that's the significance of the date.
Okay.
That's why World Down Syndrome Day.
I knew the 21 part. I didn't realize.
World Down Syndrome Day is March 21st, third month of the year, 21st day of the month, 3/21.
There you go.
Third copy of
Thanks again, man.
No, my pleasure.
Appreciate
Glad
it.
to have y'all in here. Y'all have fun this weekend.
Bye, y'all. Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
Good to meet
Have a
y'all.
good
Thank you.
weekend.
Yeah. Hello.
Good morning.
Where you want me? Right there. Yes, absolutely.
London Jackson, our new marketing manager. Tis the season.
Oh, yeah, y'all
got March Madness in a lot of ways.
Y'all couldn't launch everything outside of the legislative session.
There's some reason to the rhyme.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Well, today specifically, with
no, that I think that today is not intentional. I think just this month.
It's Louisiana Innovation Day outside the Capitol.
That was a coincidence.
Okay,
that was a coincidence.
A happy one.
Happy one. Absolutely. Yeah, we're hosting a contingent. We'll walk over from our new headquarters. We're doing a hard hat tour, and we'll walk over to the open house.
I've got that on my I've got both actually on my calendar. So
be great to have you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit late, but I'll be there.
Hard hats just came in, so
awesome.
Had to order a few more.
I gotta knock out a quick live read, but we'll get your own. 817 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got Tony Zanders from Nexus, Louisiana in with us, but he's got to sit patiently for 60 seconds so that I can tell you about 5-Star Printing and Signs. 271-4096 is the phone number to get a hold of Danny Palin and his team over at 5-Star Printing and Signs. Look, it's an election year all year long. We are just shy of 2 months away from closed primaries. I'm not worried about that right now. I'm looking forward to November, okay? If you are thinking about running on any ballot on any level, and there's going to be a ton of it coming up in November, then you need 5-Star Printing and Signs. You need to call Danny at 271-4096. Elections are his wheelhouse. Yes, he can make sure your messaging for your business is out in front. He can make sure your merch from your business keeps your logo, keeps your branding front and center. Out of sight, out of mind in that world, right? Well, Danny does that better than anybody around, but when it comes to election time, this is when he leaves the yard. This is when he steps into the pitch and drives it 400 feet to left center field every single time. Whether you're talking about your yard signs, your brochures, your door hangers, your mailers, he's got you covered. Printshop5.com or 271-4096 for 5-Star Printing and Signs. All right. Nexus, Louisiana has been undergoing a major transformation. Here to bring us up to speed, we got Tony Zanders. How are you, man?
I'm great. Even better now that I'm here.
I can't imagine why. It's just another step down the process, right?
No, true. No, I meant literally in this building. I ran across Jacob Hester. He said to tell you, go Braves.
Oh my word! I don't know why.
He said, yeah, I didn't know either. But
if he didn't wear the number 18, we would not tolerate him at all. I don't know. That's just Hester with his 3-1 great. All right, what's the latest in Texas? How does he find a way to dig that in? I'm a lifelong Mets fan. Okay, that's the backstory there.
That's okay.
I don't want to eat up your time with NL East talk, but that's the backstory there. Is he's a Braves fan, I'm a Mets fan, so I have to suffer.
We'll save it for another day.
Please. Nexus, Louisiana, what's the latest?
A little bit of everything. I think the last time I was here was just about a year ago. I just crossed my 1-year anniversary as the president and CEO, and nothing short of change, right? I think the biggest shift is we're relocating to downtown.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've relocated our now 44,000 square foot lab where we incubate tech startups, and we're bringing about 15 of them to downtown Baton Rouge. So starting this summer, there'll be a whole new energy.
Give us the lowdown on this. How many square feet?
Yeah, so we currently on Florida and Lobdell, we're in about 44,000 square feet of space for tech startups, and we're downsizing, and I'm using air quotes because it's still large, but we'll occupy about 30,000 square feet, which is currently in the Mathern's building on 3rd Street in Maine.
Yeah,
and we put out an RFP last fall, and that building came back as the top choice because a lot of our founders love the idea of having access to on demand, hot food, anything you need right on the first floor. We'll be taking over floors 2, 8, and 9.
2, 8, and 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for starters, and Mathern's is a sponsor of the show. Do you have the rewards app?
Not yet.
All right. We'll do that during the news break because we got way too much to cover right now. But it's a great building. Used to be a bank back in the day. Mathern's flipped it on the bottom side, and y'all are doing the whole renovation, moving up from there. So tell us what folks can expect within this renovation.
So the second floor is going to take the form of a modern hotel lobby. This will be a place that our members and their guests can grab a coffee by day or a cocktail by night. There'll be highboy tables overlooking 3rd Street. And it'll be a place for you to check your email in the morning. We'll also have a theater there to demonstrate tech products. Nice. That'll seat probably 100 people at any given time. Mm-hmm. And then floors 3 through 7 are apartments. We're actually going to be leasing some of those for our visiting entrepreneurs and residents. We're really interested in this idea of a live, work, play concept.
Yeah.
When you're building a tech startup, you become pretty obsessed with it, and you're working on it 7 days a week up until you reach these milestones.
Mm-hmm.
So our folks are really interested in not having to get into a car. They can just sort of get their work done. And we're really interested in downtown Baton Rouge because it has all the raw ingredients of a tech hub.
Yes.
If you've been to San Francisco or Austin, I just got back from South by Southwest, which if you've been in 6th Street or Congress, downtown Austin, it has a certain energy to it that is really about walkability, access to cafes, bars. You also don't want to have to go too far to bump into other people like you, because a lot of what makes it an ecosystem is this pinball effect.
Yes.
And so if you're building something interesting and you run into someone else who's building something interesting, that's when magic happens. And downtown Baton Rouge has all those raw ingredients.
Love that. Okay, so we've covered the where.
Yeah.
Let's get to the why and the how, because previously, before you took over, Nexus had a pretty, a good mission and a decent focus, but that wasn't a laser focus, to be sure. You've refined that a good bit. So talk to me about the why and the how.
Sure. I think for me, it came to the fact that we have a statute as an organization. A lot of the technology accelerators or incubators across the country, they're just your, typical nonprofit.
Right.
Whereas, so we had the statute that we were able to go back to and understand what was that original vision that the authors of that legislation intended. And when you read it, it mentions the phrase high tech, creating these. Back then in the 90s, they used the phrase high tech. But today that would basically mean what's the most cutting edge technology of the day?
Right.
And how can we dedicate resources, both physical space, but also financial resources, to people who have the skills to bring these to life? And so today that means artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, virtual reality tools. And so when you look at our membership, these are some of the best and brightest folks in the state. Our mission is to help them focus on the hardest problems the state has. And so a lot of our programs now, we get prompts and nudges from industry experts. Take, for example, Ochsner, one of the leading healthcare experts in the mm-hmm. country. They design business challenges for us that technology can help solve. We then share that with the statewide network of our engineers, and they take shots on goal towards solving that problem. So one example, Ochsner told us that the top injury in the country that requires surgery is an ACL injury.
Oh,
over 400,000 a year.
Yep,
requires surgery. And
if I'm not mistaken, Ochsner's where the James Andrews Institute is.
Correct.
We had him on the show last week.
So small world.
Legend of a guy.
And they also taught us and our community at Nexus that young women are 8 times more likely to tear their ACL than young men.
Really? Okay.
And the research bears it out, right? And so we share this with our network. We got about 40 submissions for new technology solutions, hardware and software, to help prevent ACL injuries. And the winning team was a group of 4 young women out of Monroe, northern Louisiana. They came down to Baton Rouge and showcased this app they built that does 3 things. One, you can record a video of yourself doing squats, and it uses AI to tell you if your knee is likely to tear your ACL. And so this is personalized healthcare. And after that, it uses a different AI to create a personalized training plan for you. And this one plugs into your Apple Health Kit to look at, in this case for women, when is your menstrual cycle that month? And it designs your workout plan around that, because the research says if you're working out during that cycle, that's when the injury is most likely to occur.
No way.
Yeah. And they blew the minds of the judges from Ochsner, and we had a couple other industry experts there. And that's the type of stuff we can do when we get industry leaders to tell us, hey, what problems do you need help solving? Let's share it with these really smart folks and see their perspective on solving it.
Unbelievable. I mean, you think about how far, and Nexus, Louisiana has always been on the cusp. But I mean, we're no longer in the days of like, I got a new app. I can tell you how far away the ice cream truck is. Like, we're way, way beyond that right now. This is monumental.
I would agree. I mean, that's the thing. Some people like to be kind and say, oh, there's no bad idea. Well, there are bad ideas. And just because someone's really bright doesn't mean they know what to build. Right?
Okay.
And so that's where we can step in as a community, become this nexus between private industry, higher education, and the community to say, how can we use technology to improve livability for Louisianans? And so this Friday, we're hosting our first competition of 2026. And this is not focused on healthcare this quarter. We're focused on coastal erosion.
Okay. So I'm assuming, and I was determined to use the word nexus in regular conversation. You beat me to it because if you talk about coastal erosion, downtown gives you some proximity to the Water Institute for sure.
It does. And those folks have been doing great work for over a decade, not just here in Louisiana, but they have national impact.
Yeah.
And again, our team won't have expertise across every industry, but we do have this relationship because of our statute to groups like Water Institute, LED, and others. And so the Water Institute, they gave us access to over 400,000 photos of our coastline that have been taken over the past 20 years. And we shared that with our community. Our teams are going to present AI-based solutions to look across all those images to see, can we use something like bird migratory patterns or flora and fauna patterns to help reduce coastal erosion? Are there trends and patterns we can pick up? Because when they started collecting these images 20 years ago, we didn't have AI tools.
Right.
And so now we'll see what's possible this Friday afternoon at Nexus.
Okay, so that's Dev Days, right?
That's correct.
Dev Days coming up Friday. That would be the what? There's cash prizes on the line for your top three winners coming out of that. For folks that are unfamiliar with Dev Days, and we got like literally a minute and 10 seconds left, give us the lowdown on what we're looking at.
So this is a quarterly competition based on an industry that is important to Louisiana, in this case, climate technology, where we want our best and brightest talent to focus on the hardest problems. And so they have 12 weeks to build an app that's presented to industry experts from Water Institute, Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and they get a cash prize for that top app that they build. They also may get internships, jobs. They also can get investment if they want to turn into a company. And so this is something we do throughout the year.
So cool. Yeah. Such good stuff. Dev Days coming up Friday. Nexus, Louisiana, moving into their new digs over there by Mathern's downtown. 3rd Main or 4th and Main. If y'all are taking the parking spots, are you?
We are.
Oh man, there had to be a downside before we were all done.
Yeah, parking is important.
Do we have a timeline on the build out?
So right now we're planning to move in after the July 4th holiday. Today we're going to do our first hard hat tour at 3:00. Looking forward to hosting folks. Check out the space.
I will be a little bit late, but I plan on being there. He's Tony Zanders. Thank you so much for a couple minutes.
Thanks so much, Brian.
Here's news. Oh man, sweet. So yeah, the work that used to be done at Nexus felt really cutting edge. You've blown it out of the water, man.
I appreciate it.
No,
man.
that's awesome stuff.
Yeah. We're just getting started. We're just getting started, man.
It took so much in me to resist the sophomore joke when like you tear yourself. Oh, you're probably in a period.
Yep.
You're guys in so much trouble with this technology.
I know.
So. No, I wouldn't have even thought to walk down that path of mixing ACL tears and like the hardware and software, and like
neither would we. But when we sit with the experts, and it's not Nexus's ideas, we have super smart people in the state, and it's their ideas against these problems, and so that's what I think a Nexus is connecting.
Exactly. Well, it's literally the definition.
Literally the definition of it.
So, yeah, your proximity to the capitals would be awesome. I'm as you're talking, I'm running through my mind like who needs to know about this from the CPRA standpoint, from the state representatives that are down the coast. Like Jessica Domain was on the show yesterday. Joe Ogeron is on the show regularly.
And the thing is, this is a scalable model. We can go to them, whether you're in the Bayou region or Acadiana, and we can hear your problems. I just met with Tim Temple about insurance. We're going to be working on some insurance technology to reduce the rates because you can get predictive if you have better data, and we can detect fraud better. We can, so good. And so whoever, that's the new model, and we could take this across the 64 parishes, but bringing them to the capital is important.
Yes, it is.
That's why we're the capital.
The ultimate, if you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
Yep.
And Florida Boulevard is great, but it's 2 miles too far.
That's right.
So
long 2 miles too.
So
awesome.
Well,
good to see you.
Yep, likewise, always. And I'm gonna tell Natisha, you need to be in here more often than just big events.
Okay.
Just random updates and whatnot like that.
I mean, we're commenting on stuff that matters. So
exactly.
We'll be in touch.
Good deal. Thank you.
Bye.
I got that invite too. Now I know what you're talking about because Ella wants me to retire because they just have Brittany last year.
Yeah.
I'll be there, but
March 24th.
when is that? That's next week. Yeah.
That's
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
She said all we had last year was, I think it was like Michelle, Scotty, Mac, and Brittany.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I know, but like we don't have an afternoon drive show on Talk 107.3. And I walk in the building at 5 a.m. and I'm expected to be other places in the afternoon. And if I'm not expected to be other places in the afternoon, I'm doing carpool. Like next Tuesday at 4, every Tuesday at 4:20, from 4:20 to 5 o'clock, I'm doing a radio hit in New Orleans. I go on a different show down in New Orleans. So, I mean, I accepted the invite, but I'm gonna do my best to like see if we can't do something before that. Like, and when I responded to the email, I was like, Hunt's going to be in on this. And he's on the air from 1 to 3. If he's doing his interviews before his show, like, can I do them during his show? And if he's doing his interviews after his show, can I do them during his show? Like, I'm gonna go see her about it.
I mean, here's an idea, but he would have to come into town. Could Moon go and do it?
No, we don't.
I know. I'm trying to make your life easier.
Well,
worst case, I can get you my soundbite for my interview.
That's probably what we're gonna do.
Okay. And I could full house use my roundabout interview for Tiger, but give you my soundbite. I mean, hell, and if it's a damn good interview enough, you can have my boys do it on your talk.
Right.
Why not?
There's no reason you shouldn't. I wasn't just gonna use your soundbites. I was gonna use your interview. If you don't label your station, Dr. So-and-so's on 100.7. Yeah. We can double up
I can dub it for Tiger with 100.7.
Right.
Where's Julia Letlow? Love me some Julia.
You know what? It's 5 hours ago. We need to start making a new stop on the This Day in History thing.
What you mean?
Because, I'll take this on because you got enough on your plate with that segment that I can pull this one up separately.
We have to move this day, you saying?
No. I want to add a source to it.
Okay. What are we doing? Birthdays, deaths?
No. Baton Rouge history.
Oh, yeah. Where's Julia?
Mm-hmm.
She's doing a good job, Brian.
I got a live read.
Okay.
Still picking my jaw up off the floor. Tony Zanders from Nexus, Louisiana. Thanks again for that awesome segment. There are a lot of really good things on the forefront here. Really, really good stuff. We got Congresswoman Julia Letlow on the way in just a little bit. Do need to remind you about One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. 400-8005 is the phone number. Of course, that's a 225. David Duvall and his team. We're not. Give me 1 second. I'm being told where Congresswoman Letlow is at. Give me one more second. Texting in real time. All right. David Duvall and his team at One Bath and Closets. I can speak to this work firsthand because they've done work in my house. Got a new master bathroom thanks to One Bath and Closets. Walked down the full path of got David in there. Talked about the space. Talked about what was possible. And you wouldn't think when revamping a master bath, like you could be pitched things that you can't see until they happen. And this is exactly what happened. Obviously, top quality work from start to finish. But really walking us through all of our options was one of the main focuses. There she is. Was one of the main focuses from David is making sure that we were up to speed along the way. You're not going to get hit with any surprises. It's your choices. It's what you want. And when we came to our bathroom, we got the walk-in shower. We got the dual vanities. We increased the lighting throughout. It's just, and we're like, couldn't be more pleased with the finished product. And oh, by the way, when you're talking about revamping a bathroom from a house that was built in 1964, you're talking about bringing a lot of things up to speed that were a challenge along the way. David is here to conquer those challenges and make sure that you are 100% satisfied with the work. OneBathAndClosets.com. All right. It is time for DC Current, presented by LABI. Congresswoman Julia Letlow is on the hotline right now. Congresswoman, how are you?
I'm so great, Brian. It's always great to be with you.
Likewise. Love having you on. Love when we get the chance to chat. So I want to be selfish about part of this segment because I want you and I to walk through an intellectual exercise on the Save America Act. But we got to be responsible and make sure that as we're speaking to our representation on Capitol Hill, we get the full report on what you're doing at your job. So bring us up to speed. What was the last week in Congress like for you?
Well, it took a little effort to get up here this week. My goodness, that storm messed up travel for a lot of people, but I finally made it in yesterday afternoon, thank goodness. So, yeah, it's been a shorter week, but so grateful to meet with constituents who fly in. This is a fly-in season, so I got to see Mayor Friday Ellis and his team and talk about infrastructure projects for them. Today, I get to do something that I absolutely love, and that's show a school group around. Today, it's going to be St. Luke's Episcopal from Baton Rouge.
No kid.
I was able to, I love that. It's one of my favorite things to do. And was able to visit with some Shreveport chamber folks. And, it warms my heart to see people from back home up here. It can be pretty long, dark days up here. So it's great to see people from back home.
All right. So when you give the kids the tour, they get the full underground tunnel, old Supreme Court, the whole works?
Yes, they get
Awesome.
They get all the works. And, by the time they get to me, I'm usually running to vote and ask how the tour went. And they're all starry-eyed. And it's just something magical about being in the nation's capital and seeing it firsthand. It's how my late husband Luke initially found his love for government, and so it's just really special to carry that on.
Well, it really is. Okay. Congresswoman Julia Letlow is our guest. This is DC Current presented by LABI. And it does change things, doesn't it, Congresswoman? You could watch TV, you could watch Fox News, you could watch CNN, you can listen to News Talk Radio, you can read the newspapers all day long, and it becomes about the back and forth and the what fights that and the politics of it. But once you're in the building, once you're in that space, once you're in that arena, as Teddy Roosevelt called it, once you're there, it's about actually getting work done. And I think we lose that when we're back home in the 225 or the 318 or whatever the new area code is.
And what a lot of people don't tell you, Brian, is there are some amazing people to work alongside up here from all over the country. I've met people from, every state, and it's been an honor to just build relationships with them and actually get results for the state that I love, bring results home. That's what it's all about. And, I had have a really neat experience every day because I get to walk to work from my tiny little apartment here. And I get to see our nation's capital, and I pinch myself every day. It still gives me goosebumps that I get to work here and serve the people of Louisiana.
Congresswoman Julia Letlow is our guest. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about that work. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What's the latest on the DHS shutdown?
Oh, goodness. They have to come to the table and get this done. Anybody that is traveling right now is waiting in terrible lines. TSA workers haven't been paid. I understand that a lot of them are just saying, look, we can't even afford to fill up our tanks to get to the airport in order to get to work. So something's got to give. The White House has made a counteroffer as of yesterday is what I saw. But they've continued to work in good faith. The Democrats just need to come to the table and get this done. I think we talked about it last time. It's a matter of national security to not have DHS up and running. So I'm hopeful that maybe we can come to an agreement this week, but it's really resting in the hands of the Democrats. They need to, in my words, get their act together and come to the table in good faith.
When you are actively fighting with a nation that supports terrorism, it's probably best for your Homeland Security people not to be pulling a night job to make ends meet. I don't need TSA driving Uber Eats and then being all sleepy at the wheel when it comes to their real job.
No doubt. Let's get them back to work.
Absolutely. Congresswoman Julia Letlow is our guest. So let's talk a little bit about the Save America Act. I want to walk through a little bit of, we'll call it an intellectual exercise of how you came to be in support of, because I think we're on the same page on this. I think we're in complete agreement on this particular bill. Walk me through your understanding of the bill and how you came to the position you came to.
Yeah, it is the hot topic in D.C., but it's also the hot topic in Louisiana. Brian, I hear it from every corner of the state that I visit from my constituents that we have to pass the SAVE Act. So it's in the Senate's hands right now. It's under consideration as we speak. The House, that we did our job. We passed this act 3 times already out of the House. And it's just common sense. It's preventing non-citizens from voting and requiring a photo ID to vote. And so, like in Louisiana, we already require a photo ID, but not every state takes that step and takes election security seriously. So this is why we absolutely need the Save America Act to pass. Just recently, the FBI charged an illegal immigrant in Pennsylvania with voting in the 5 most recent presidential elections. So you can't tell me that this is not happening in other states across the country. Brian, I'm not a negative person. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But it's clear we have a problem. We need to secure our elections and renew the trust and faith within the American people that our elections are safe and secure. I know that this is President Trump's top legislative priority. If you've been watching the news, you know that it is too. And I've joined him in challenging the Senate to find a way to make it into law. It comes as no surprise that Senate Democrats are blocking this, but I've called for Senate Republicans to make this as challenging as possible for the Democrats to block it. And anyone who opposes this bill should have to stand up and continuously speak to block a vote. And that's the filibuster that they're talking about. They should actually have to have a real debate about it, actually filibuster, just like you remember Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. The American people, I know I'm being long-winded about this, but it's so important. The American people overwhelmingly support this policy. One poll I just saw was like 71%. That's Republicans and Democrats. So it's time to get it done. I know some people on the Senate side say that the talking filibuster is not possible, but then you have others who say it absolutely is possible. It's just going to take the fortitude and time to get it all the way through so we can get it to the president's desk.
Congresswoman Julia Letlow is our guest. Okay, now here's where we're going to walk through the intellectual exercise, because I agree in principle with everything you just said. We should have ID to vote. That should be a requirement. I know I'm pretty sure in Louisiana, even if you don't have an ID, you have to fill out an affidavit. So
right.
There are workarounds and whatnot, and voter fraud isn't as highly reported as
right.
I believe. Like, if there's nothing reported, then there was nothing wrong. Well, we don't know that because nothing was reported. So I agree with you in principle on all of these things. However, and I need you to help me get over the hump on this one. However,
okay.
How do you evaluate? Because nothing that y'all do doesn't involve a lot of thought, a lot of contemplation. We don't have federal elections. Every state has their own elections. So how can you federalize requirements for state elections? Was that not a hurdle you had to get through in your contemplation and your discerning your vote on this?
Well, I mean, that's a fair question. And while these changes would apply to federal elections like the president, the Senate, and the House, it would make sense for state elections to operate under the same rules in place for federal elections. States would be incentivized to follow these election security practices, like showing an ID if they are already in place for federal elections. So, yeah, of course, that's calculated in. But my goodness, we have to get this under control, considering that, gosh, the numbers I was seeing the other day, 15 million illegal aliens came across our border under President Biden. So, while that's always a debate that people have, I believe it's time for us to pass something just like the SAVE Act to get it under control.
And you're confident that the SAVE Act doesn't intrude on anything that belongs to the states individually?
Yeah, I am. I would hope that they would follow in suit. It's a great piece of legislation, but yeah, I mean, of course, I believe in states' rights as well. So,
Congresswoman Julia Letlow, our guest for another. We got a minute and a half left. Oh, this one went by quick. Got another minute and a half left.
That went by fast.
It did go by fast. But it's one of those things we need to take note of, Congresswoman, is that these are big decisions. It's not just a blank. Okay, here's the Republican take. Here's the Democrat take. You do walk through the process every single time. It is contemplative at the least.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that play out, during the COVID era, during the elections. Every state was changing their laws last minute. It was just, it was chaos. It was mad chaos. So, we're trying to renew faith and restore trust in especially our federal elections moving forward for the American people. We deserve it.
The COVID reference might have. Okay, now I agree in principle and practice now. That's because it was there. The COVID reference is a darn good point. Hey, before I let you go, you got the kids from St. Luke's coming up today. Their church burned down about 2 years ago. The frame is back. Yeah, no, they're right there in Goodwood behind Terrace Subdivision. The frame is back up and they're on their full road to recovery. So they should be enthused at the very least with where their future's headed. So if you want to drop that little nugget on them when they get there, feel free to share.
I will do. I'll show them some extra love. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Absolutely. She is Congresswoman Julia Letlow. We always appreciate the time. We will talk to you soon.
Sounds great. See you soon.
Thanks. I know. I was still going. All right. There I am. All right. We got your money now coming your way. I had a closing thought on Congresswoman Letlow's segment. I'll get to that right after this on Talk 107.3. Here's your money now.
I know.
So yeah, I'm going to go from here to put together a show for tomorrow, write my Rotary news for today, go out to AZ Young Park for Louisiana's Innovation Day, then over to the Rotary Club, then back to Innovation Park for the demonstrations, then over to Nexus, Louisiana, and then over to Nexus, Louisiana for like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then back to the Pentagon Barracks for the Plaquemines Parish Legislative Reception. So, like, yeah. I mean, that's welcome to Wednesday, right?
I'm looking at you trying to process this right now.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that looking for pity or anything. It's a busy time. And if I have the opportunity to be a husband and a father once in a while, I would like to take advantage of said opportunity. Well, yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and I did bring her Guinness, but I wasn't there to watch Quiet Man with her. Like, as kind of the little, well, that gets old. Come September 22nd, it'll be 25 years. Yeah.
I have a group text message thread on timeline because it just goes off all the time. 21 unread. Like
text message group about what? Work or
parent? No parent.
Yeah.
I'm a part of the because of course naturally I can't say no. I do the fundraising for the boosters and they're going on and on and on and on and on. I'll worry about that later. Like half of the moms in there don't work, you know, so they're just. Wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna get home around 8:30 tonight and just be dead to the freaking world.
It's like, hey, Kristen, one day.
Yeah.
Where do you find time to work out? Like, props to you.
I'm gonna squeeze it in between Rotary and going back out to the Innovation Park today. or between Rotary and Nexus.
But you don't do a whole lot of cardio, right?
I do a minimum of 35 minutes of cardio.
Okay.
And then if I go 35 cardio, 25 lifting, that's an hour workout. So, you know. All right, 856 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I got 20 minutes worth of content to squeeze into 4 minutes here. Let's get to it. Coach Kim Mulkey and the Tigers host Jacksonville this Friday. Round one of the NCAA tournament. Coverage starts with pregame at 4:30. Tip-off is set for 5 p.m. You will hear that on our sister station, 100.7 The Tiger. LSU softball is going to be right here on Friday evening. And, of course, LSU baseball will be over on Eagle 98.1. But just a heads up, since we are the home of LSU women's basketball all season long, if you were looking to tune into them right here, you need to go right down the hall. 100.7 is going to have them for you. I wanted to follow up on what Congresswoman Letlow had to say, and there was a reason behind wanting to do that little intellectual exercise. Before I do that, though, let me remind you about Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. If you or someone you know or love is battling with anxiety or depression, and you found that you don't like the way the prescription drugs make you feel, the sit-down, talk-it-out therapy doesn't take hold. Neurojust is a different form of treatment. It's called TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation. It targets the parts of the brain that affect mood. Learn more at neurojust.com. Think of this more as physical therapy for your brain, as opposed to just, taking a pill for pain. You go through physical therapy to fix something that's physically wrong. Same thing here. Physical therapy for your mind. Learn more at neurojust.com. Don't forget, insurance picks up the tab on this one. Neurojust, Neurojust, neurojust.com. So full disclosure, I wanted to ask Congresswoman Letlow about how she came about her take on the Save America Act for a reason. We are in the midst of a Senate race, a U.S. Senate race. And I know I'm going to catch all kinds of hell and hate for this, but I want to touch on it. We are in a spot in our nation where everything is Trump versus non-Trump. Everything we see. It feels like it's so pervasive and invasive. Everything is Trump versus non-Trump. And Congresswoman Letlow is she got the endorsement of President Trump. So I was curious to see what her answer was going to be on this. She did mention Trump in her answer, but it was not the genesis of her answer. When I asked her about the Save America Act, she talked about the overall problem. And she also clarified that she does not believe that a federal mandate to require ID involves or would interfere with states running their own elections. In the U.S. Constitution, in the Bill of Rights, the 10th Amendment, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. We are a United States of America. Not just America, the United States. So the genesis of my question was, is she respecting that with her decision? Did that go into her decision to serve the state of Louisiana? And I think I got a resounding yes out of that one. That was fun. Great conversation. Anything you missed is available on demand at talk1073.com. We'll be up there after the show is over with. Amazing discussions today. Looking forward to tomorrow. Haggai Davis will be in for a cup of tech gumbo tomorrow. We rescheduled with David Cresson. He's going to be on with us at 8:15 tomorrow morning. Crime Stoppers coming your way. I believe we're talking with the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students as well. So get ready. We are locked and loaded for Thursday's show. Coming up next is Moon. Yeah, so Facebook, before I get out of here, if her answer would have been oversimplified